crazy week here at SHOT Show. Of course, this is our third day. I'm starting to lose my voice, which is not great because I still have a lot of video content to make, and I also still have to actually teach a live class tomorrow for SHOT University. And so I'm trying to not yell as much, but I'm probably going to because I'm passionate about everything that's you can be passionate about, mainly about drinking Jack right now. And so let's go over day 3. That's what everybody came for. Let's talk about it. And when I say everybody, I mean 3 of our viewers. You know, Grandma, Mom, and I think Wit's son is watching, which he should not be. It's inappropriate for a 5-year-old.
It's also really late there.
It is really late there. He should be in bed. He
He's
should.
looking at
Neelan, go to sleep. Okay.
I also gave my son the YouTube link.
Did you?
He was like, oh, Dad's on YouTube.
You have a son? How old?
Thomas is 9.
That's terrifying as shit.
Yeah.
That there's a small you running around somewhere.
Oh, dude, you have no idea.
Bro, can you tell us real quick before we get into this about how you mated a snake in a cave? Can
No.
Okay. All right, we'll talk about that a different day. Oh, I'm already spilling my whiskey. I'm so excited already. All right, never mind. Whatever. All right, so let's talk real quick. Recap day 3. Day 3 is my favorite. It's when we start to get down on the first floor, which we've all been in agreement. That's our favorite place. That's where we start to see a little bit of. It is. It's a swap meet. You start to see not just builders, companies as a whole, who are passionately putting everything they have into a product they passionately believe in. And that's big because a lot of times those are the products that really stand out in the market. And so tell me what y'all saw today, what you liked, all that kind of stuff.
The first hit this morning, the Cool Trainer. I was really
Right.
impressed with the recoil.
Cool Trainer, and they've been around for a minute. I remember working with them. I think the first time I used one of their systems like 7 or 8 years ago. Long time, and I don't know how long they've been before that. They're actually owned by a parent company, Dvorak, I believe is what it's called. Man, our Wi-Fi is coming in and out. So if you're watching this, sorry, we're at the Venetian. You can only do what you can do, and they hate gun people. I don't know. They might like us, but. Bro, I got her. Let's sidetrack for a second. I got harassed coming in because when I came in with my luggage, I had my orange Pelican case with me. Security guard stopped me and said, "How do I know your gun's locked up?" And my first response was, first of all, what makes you think I have a gun? Like, I didn't tell you I had a gun. That's an assumption that you made. I don't have to answer that. And then it was, well, I would need you to show me so I can know it's locked up because you're making our jobs harder. I was like, we'll back up, bro. I'm about to make a scene and it's gonna get ugly. Like I ain't pulling out and unlocking my gun for people.
I'm here with the AVN Awards. There's a dildos.
That's right. That's right. So, anyways, I don't know where we came from here. Cool Fire Trainer. So, yeah. So rabbited hard on that. But speaking of ABMs, but what I really think is that Cool Fire Trainer is trying to continually make their product better. I love that they didn't just get stale in the market. It's when you talk about a training tool, I think it's not replaceable. Like you can't get anything better than what it is.
No.
And so to be able to quickly drop in their system into your firearm and have recoil management, so you're dry firing with full recoil, it's a big deal for new shooters.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
I mean, there's no better way if you're on a range and you're shooting. I know all of you guys that are in here and trainers would attest to the fact of if you can put somebody who's already a little bit scared of shooting on a platform like that to build their comfort level first, that's going to go a long ways when they put live ammo in.
Oh, for sure. They can go right to the 22.
That's right. That's right to it, right, Amy? Jamie's not in the room today, so we're gonna talk major shit about that.
And she's not watching either.
That's right. If you weren't here yesterday, you didn't get to hear us fighting about 22 versus 9mm as a EDC cartridge, and that's just a whole whatever. We'll get into that again, I'm sure, later. All right, what else do we see? Michael, what did you see today that you liked on the floor?
Shadow System again.
All right, every time.
Every single time. Shadow System still one of the absolute best handguns down.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Absolutely just amazing.
So I haven't used their stuff a whole lot. I've used it some, but everybody that I've ever talked to that I know Whit uses it passionately, right?
18.
Yeah, just absolutely loves it. I mean, I've yet to hear anything bad about Shadow Systems.
Just right out of the box, the trigger feels amazing.
Right.
So
Yeah, which is super cool. Let's see. Other than that, the one thing that I like today, and they were going to bring over a tester, but that's okay, is the Black Steel, which is a hang on, let me stop over something here. Sorry, Black Steel, which is what they call it, a folding grip pad is what they call it. A gas pedal is what we call it if you've been in the industry for a minute. But for those of you new viewers, it's a folding grip something. But super cool. The way they built it out. But the one thing that I really liked about it, and you can go on our YouTube, check out the video. What was cool is field stripping a Glock just became infinitely easier.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's absolutely crazy. Speaking of the devil, he just walked in. We're gonna get to it in just a second.
Can you tell me that?
Let's not get into it yet. We'll get into that in a minute. But we'll show you what that looks like. What I don't want to do is, because we have some special guests today, I don't want to mess up their stream. They're streaming along with us. So Meet the Pressers is here in studio with us. And so they're streaming as well. Say hi to all their fans. Hi to all their fans. Say hi, Whit. Okay, yeah, we love having visitors. And so while I'm good with breaking rules, I don't like to get other people shadow banned for no reason. And so we're gonna hold off for just a minute on that. And what we'll probably actually do is end up doing that on a separate deal, if that's cool. But I do want to talk about it, and I'll catch up with you here in a second. But it's super cool product. Number one, it's to help mitigate recoil, right? We talked about, again, we're going back to yesterday's conversation. It keeps coming full circle, but that 22 versus 9 or 380 for your everyday carry, big deal. Having the confidence to have a recoil mitigator like that and be able to carry a larger caliber,
Well,
it gives you stopping power.
As being a trainer, if you're using that, it gives you that first-time shooter literally a place to say, hey, this is where your thumb's supposed to be.
There's
So,
direction.
yeah, there's direction. You can literally just make sure that, hey, here's where your thumb's supposed to be. If your thumb's not there, you're wrong.
Right, that's it.
So it just helps with that aspect.
I love products like this because they are they're simple, right? And I don't mean that ugly, but they're simple products. But they're products that somebody took the time to go ahead and make happen and put into production and put into production well. I love that it folds. So it's just, even though, when it's out, that piece is sticking out right in front of your trigger. Whenever you put it in your holster, it slides right in and it doesn't affect it at all. So it's going to fit in any holster. Incredibly great little tool that I love there. So those were some of the favorites that we saw on the floor today. Was there anything else that really stuck out to you guys today that you saw? I know we talked about a couple of things this morning at breakfast, but I don't know if you saw anything else.
Well, Holosun's red dot,
They're thermal.
the thermal and the Bluetoothing between the two.
That's right. That was an interesting concept. I don't know if you saw it yet. So it's basically
I've seen it.
yeah, it's a module that M-locks, or that goes on the bottom of your rail, and sends a wireless signal up to your site. And my only concern there is, you start adding too much technology, it's something that's going to break, right?
Well, that's why red dots are difficult when you put them on an EDC. Like, it's
Right.
eventually a battery wears out.
That's right. It's going to go out. My EDC doesn't see the sunlight a lot unless I'm training with it.
Correct.
So if even if you go with something that is a solar, battery, charging battery, it's just not. It's not the right thing. So, anyways, SHOT Show day 3. Like I said, still love getting on the floor. We'll be on first floor again tomorrow. I know we've got several other ones tomorrow that we're looking at. One that we talked about this morning, and I've got to look at my notes here. But I think it's REAP. Does anybody know REAP? REAP. It's REAP Gunworks, Rifle Works, something like that. I can't remember. But essentially, they've made a kit that turns your AR into a bullpup.
Yeah.
So we'll check that out tomorrow. It's a lot of little stuff like that on the first floor that I really love walking around seeing. So if you got something that you want us to see, make sure you drop that in the comments. We'll go check it out tomorrow for sure. We're trying to continue to get coverage and make sure that we're bringing all the stuff that you guys want to know about. All right, well, we're gonna do some tradesies here. Like I said, we've got somebody I'm pretty excited to have here. We've got Meet the Pressers. I'm gonna let y'all swap on in here for a second while I get me a sip of whiskey. I know, Michael, here in a minute you're gonna have to run because you think that Rob Pincus is cooler than us. That's what I've been told. Is that you think that we're not as good as him?
I think that the rip in your pants actually shows how butthurt you
Oh no, is there a rip in my pants? Don't look at my pants like that. That's fine. It brings in the viewers. You wouldn't understand. But no, so you've got the Rob party tonight. Is that right?
No, you also have it.
Okay, so we have the Rob party
So does this guy.
right. Have you gotten your official invitation yet?
No.
No. Okay. Well.
He knows it's in my phone because I have the ones that have all the invitations.
Like that's good friends right there.
Good to know people.
Yeah, exactly. Here, I'll scoot this to you. Pull it up, and you can pull it to you so you can get comfortable. Lean back and get comfy. All right. Tell us about yourself. I want to know everything about you. Welcome to the show. Yeah.
About 49 years ago, I was
No, let's do it. Let's go. I've got unlimited time on YouTube. They say, yeah.
Yeah, born and raised in upstate New York.
Oh yeah.
Went to the Army right out of high school. Married young. We've got 4 kids, 10 grandkids. And,
Wow.
Yeah, a small little.
What's it? What's grandkids like?
You know this thing, you sugar them up and send them home.
It's
pretty-
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it is.
I keep trying to do that to my kids, and they keep just coming back in the front door every time. Yeah.
I put them to bed
Just
after that.
right, it's terrible. I love my kids, but yeah, they get sugared up. Now, tell us within the industry. Tell us about Meet the Pressers. Tell us about what you do, what you cover, all the stuff that you love, all that.
So I started a training company about 15 years ago, doing training just in upstate New York,
Right.
and that transitioned into doing more training nationally as a national instructor for UTM, Taser, Saber, Pepper Spray, NRA, USCCA, and during those travels, Clinton Macro and I started becoming more friends, and then eventually we ended up starting Meet the Pressers.
Awesome.
We're in our 6th season. We've been on IMDb listed TV show
Right.
for the whole time. We just got picked up on Apple TV, Roku TV, and Fire TV.
Congrats, that's big.
Yep, so we're on there every Wednesday night. Actually, it just ended tonight's episode just played.
Did it really? Okay, cool.
Yeah. So yeah, and we just like interviewing people. I think Clint said we're over 300 guests so far, and
That's amazing.
yeah. So we're trying to fight it. We came into it at the point where you got all the suppression happening, and,
Right.
You know, all the junk that the liberals put towards us.
Right.
So it's a bad opportunity at the time we came in, but we didn't do it to make money. We did it more than anything just to meet other great people.
That's right.
Learn from them, network.
Isn't it funny how that works? Like that's one of my favorite things. I don't. Have you been on camera before you? Oh, sorry. Before you came in to Meet the Pressers, I just killed them a little bit. Oh my God! I've killed the guest. He's just murdering them. Yeah. I really want to take over his show. I figured if I can get rid of him, I can take his show over, and it's fun. Welcome to Luke. Hey guys, I'm Luke from Meet the Pressers. Let me introduce you to my show. No, but did you do on-camera work before? Like,
No, not really. I mean, I've done I've done a lot of training as
Right.
far as in the computer industry. I've taught people, and I've spoke at different events. So I had that in the background. And
Right.
I just kind of I like doing it. I love doing it.
Right.
That old adage that if you love something you do, you never work a day in your life.
that's right.
And being on camera, I was an extra in a couple movies back in the 90s.
Oh, tell us more. Were they what kind of movie? Were they also movies in here in like a room like this? Did it look like Prince's room? I need to know. Okay.
They were Puddle Cruisers, and also December, the bombing of Pearl Harbor with Will Wheaton.
No way. Okay.
We filmed in upstate New York. I was out of Army on leave back in the 90s.
Right.
Up visiting family with
Okay.
the wife and the kids, and I saw it come up, and I was like, hey, what's next? So
Sweet.
Went and slipped on some clothes that didn't fit me, and was an extra in the movie. And the funny thing is, though, fast forward all these years, to get an IMDb credit, the show is what got us the platform on IMDb.
No way.
Clint's been in the
Right.
industry. I mean, Clint was in the
Don't just slip past that like you didn't say it. No.
So he had already established his creds.
Right.
Back in the 90s,
Okay.
Where I had some creds, but they were never anywhere.
Right.
So once the show happened and the show became IMDb certified, then I was able to put those 2 extra positions in there. So if you look at my IMDb, it's Meet the Press for
Right.
the past 6 years,
Right.
5 years. And then at the very end, it's like, oh, he was an extra.
Oh, he meant nothing. Yeah.
He was an extra in Meatballs when they were filming it.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of meatballs,
Speaking of.
if you ask Alexa, play Meet the Pressers, it says, we cannot find Meet the Pressers. Right? And
So it
it's
doesn't recognize you. Yeah, right.
It's like, I've been
Oh,
trying to get that fixed so
yeah.
people can actually play our show.
Right. How do you get that fixed? Like, who do you call to fix Alexa like that? Like, what is it?
Obviously, I don't.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No, I don't think you mess with that. So, being from New York, obviously, and being in this industry, you probably knew I was going to go here, but like that's a disaster, right? Just every day, is it a constant battle there? You feel like for our industry?
It is, and I mean, one of the good things, and we see this across the country with the CCA. Well, I should say more so with the Bruin decision last year, 2 Junes ago, 2022.
Right.
That helped a lot of states be able to open it up. Where now they got rid of the proper cause. You don't need a reason.
Right.
As long as you got a heartbeat, and you don't have a felony. The federal 926.18 code.
Right.
So that was a plus for the country, but it wasn't for New York, because New York doubled down.
Okay.
You know, you got June, Bruin decision happens. You got July, they pass the CCA. You got September, it goes into effect.
Right.
And then you got November, where she gets elected.
Right.
You know, Karen Holmes.
Oh, yeah, we know. Yeah. Kathy,
So-
but yeah.
Yeah, so she gets elected, and it's.
But she is a Karen. Yeah.
she
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
That's why I
Sorry.
always say that.
I don't know.
No,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
And then, so we're fighting it in court, obviously, with GOA and
Right.
all the other organizations, and that's really the only way to do it.
Do
And
you-
vote. People gotta vote. I mean, I've been preaching this all the interviews
That's it.
I've been doing, and my vote doesn't count. It counts. If everybody said, you know, oh, they must have called 911. Somebody must have called 911. That's a horrific accident.
Right.
Well, if everybody has that attitude, what if nobody calls?
No, what if nobody
911?
calls? Right.
The person bleeds out and dies in
Well,
an accident.
and it's a conversation we've had all the time is, you know, in Tennessee, which is where I'm from, obviously it has been a red state notoriously. Obviously, that's changed. Things are changing with the big cities. But realistically, we have a lot of people that are just kind of live in the middle. And it's those live in the middles that are like, they don't want to be loud either way. And they even when you talk about voting, it's, you know, I'm in the middle. It's not going to matter. Right. And that's the problem with where we're at today is I think we as a country, and I think we all know this, is we as a country have a massive amount of people that stand for what we stand for, but getting them to go and actually put that on paper has become difficult.
They don't think it's that it really matters what they do.
That's right.
They're just like, you know what? It doesn't matter what I do anyway, so I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah, we just we interviewed Don Jr. earlier.
Okay. So how did that go? Tell us about it.
It was phenomenal.
Was it?
Great. It was really cool. So we had Cordova and Public Square were on the show to talk, and
Right.
he's like very pro for them, and I think he invested in them as well. We had both the CEOs from both those companies on to talk about their platform
Right.
and how to help conservatives, and there's a niche and a need in the market
Right.
for both those companies.
Absolutely.
So he came on and talked about it, and we hit on that. You know, it's just the whole mindset of people not wanting to get involved, especially. He said it. He said, like, if they can do what they did to my father and what they've done to him when he just tries to open a checking account in Florida, they're like, well, we don't want your business.
Right.
It's like, it's a legal business. Good moral, like John Korea says, good moral, prudent people, and you got these organizations. I mean, that's discrimination in
Right.
its face.
Right. Where do you see, you know, when we look at we're not going to talk politics the whole time, I promise. We're going to get back into SHOT Show in a second. I didn't mean to go this route, but we're here now. Let's take over the world. Yeah. Let's really get into it. Let's see if we can get kicked off YouTube by the end of the day. So
It's
when
actually not recording. It's like-
yeah, no,
it's like,
that's
no,
perfect. That's even better. So when we talk about the entire country as a whole, obviously New York's a shithole. But when there's several other shitholes in our country as well. When you look at it from your standpoint, and obviously you know you live in New York, so I don't know if this alters your decision, but where's the worst place right now for someone in our industry to live?
I think it's a gamble because they're always just looking at each other. Like you see after the SAFE Act of 2013 in New York
Right.
State, how many states ended up saying, oh, because Cuomo wanted to be the first one to put that
Right.
out in 2013. You get that happen, another state goes, oh, you know what, we can do that. You got Massachusetts now with the stuff they're putting out.
Mhm.
You got Connecticut. People in Connecticut are fighting against their government. Obviously, you got Illinois, California. You got all these liberal
Oregon,
stronghold states.
Washington.
Right.
Oregon, Washington, New Jersey.
Yep.
You know, you got all these states. So I don't think any of them are good in that sense. And that's why people are fleeing New York State by the droves, and that's why they got to make prostitution and hallucinogenics, mushrooms legal in New York
Right.
State. They literally have bills forward to do that so they can have tax money
Right.
to keep the state going.
Right.
And it's sick.
It's crazy. It's nuts.
What you mentioned earlier made me think of you know, people not getting involved. We got 5 million gun owners in New York State. 5 million.
That's wild.
And we had less than 3 million people voted against Karen. I mean, Kathy.
Kathy, yeah, Kathy is what we meant to say. Yeah.
And that just shows you that there's a lot of FUDs out there. That
There are.
think it's just about hunting. The gun's about hunting. Oh, who needs an AR?
Right.
Listen, buddy. AR doesn't stand for assault rifle. Doesn't stand for automatic
Don't get
rifle,
me started.
And
Yeah.
although I love America, it doesn't stand for American rifle.
Right. Right.
For
It
arm
doesn't?
rifle.
Are you sure? Oh my
Why
gosh.
15 because it took 15 times for it to work for that platform.
That's right. That's it. That's exactly right.
That's the most frustrating thing in the world is people are like, oh, no. You know what an assault rifle is? A rifle that I put on the front of my truck and I run you over with it. That's an assault rifle.
It's wild because we see, I mean, and obviously it's an agenda, right? Everything at this point, where we live in 2024, everything is an agenda. So they looked at ARs as an opportunity to say, okay, we're going to take this and put a negative connotation with it. You know, it's kind of what they do in that point. So when you're fighting against something like that, when we're looking at the continual fight that we have for our industry, how do we fix it? We've talked about voting, but beyond just voting, like how do we fix where we're at, and how do we save the states that have kind of gone to hell?
Well,
Or do you? Or
I think people think, well, I'm just going to move out of the state, you know, and I've had people say that they won't come to New York, they don't want to come to New York to visit, they don't want to come to New York to train.
Right.
Whether I host people, I host people up in New York just like you do, and well, I'm not coming behind enemy lines. No, you need to come behind enemy lines. So
You have to show them that you're not afraid to go there and do it.
that's right.
yeah, and you
Because
want
if
to
you don't, it just makes it look like they won.
for sure, and you want to train those people that want to stay there and want to make a difference.
Right.
So I think that's one part of it. But then the other aspect of it is look at the politicians. Find out what they say.
Mhm.
Compare it to how they voted.
Right.
Don't just go based on what they say, because the politician's going to tell you whatever they want.
That's right.
Right. So what do they say? Compare it to how they voted. I mean, that's why like Vivek Ramaswamy there. I mean, he's saying all the right words. He's
That's
like
right.
Another Obama. A lot of the same speaking points, and I'm like, wow, this guy's freaking awesome.
Right. Right.
But then you look at how he voted and who funds him. It's like
Yeah, that funding thing is a big deal.
huge.
People don't realize the funding that happens, even on a local level, even when you come all the way down to city council. I mean, you know what I mean? All the way up the chain from there. It's the funding that happens behind somebody. If you start digging into that, tells you more about that person than anything that'll come out of their mouth, period.
And then you look at Liberty City.
Right.
Right? Like, didn't even know a lot of the stuff behind the scenes until that thing happened.
Right.
With the ATF. And then when that happened, people started researching it. They're like, wait a minute, they sold off.
Yeah.
They got this liberal company. owns
Right. Yeah. It was wild. I actually found out through a partner we had there that we had done some work for, and she called me one day. She's like, "Hey, I don't want to tell you what to do, but you need to cut ties." I was like, well, I've got to have more reason than that. Like, we can't just cut ties because someone tells me to cut ties. She's like, no, there's some stuff you need to, that's happening that you don't want to be associated with. So it's interesting that kind of stuff happens. I think that it's interesting because this past year we filmed, we produced a show for the Outdoor Channel, the Foul Life with Chad Belding, and with that, it's just hunting. But we travel all over the country, right? So we went to upstate New York. We spent 12 days in Canada. We spent days in Wisconsin, Arkansas, California, Kansas, Wyoming, Nebraska.
Wow.
A lot of places. Drove 400 hours since September. I mean, it's been a wild season. But the one thing that has been really interesting, and I've traveled a lot, but it's still I think comforting to see, is no matter where we went. I'm from the South. The South has its own, like we're our own world down there, right? We do weird shit and we get it. We're not Florida. Don't get us wrong, okay? We're not that kind of South.
No one's Florida.
No one's Florida but Florida. But it was cool coming into places that we hear. California was one. New York was one, where you hear all these terror stories of like, oh my God, they're gonna take your guns. You can't do anything.
Yeah.
We go in and we meet people that are just like us.
Right.
And I think that's what we forget as a country, because we hear that New York has gone to shit, and we're like, oh God, everybody from New York sucks, like because it's all gone to shit, right? And so
small areas.
it's small areas.
Small, very populated.
That's right.
Areas.
Well, that's with any state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In those areas, the same. way
Colorado,
Detroit,
California.
Right.
Yeah, Michigan. Detroit.
Michigan, right?
Same thing.
Yeah. So absolutely crazy that we're in this place as a whole in a country, but realistically, there's more people like us than we realize.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's and getting involved too in the sense of actually running for public office. It's tough. It's tough, right? I mean,
It
I ran
is.
for school board years ago.
Yeah, how'd that
many
go?
years ago. I didn't win.
Okay.
But I mean, I was like, everybody was like 20 years older than me that had
Yeah.
gone to the same school. I
Right.
graduated from the school, and it was kind of like an honorable mention thing. Hey,
That's
you
right.
did pretty good there, kid.
Right.
And but it was neat for me to spend $3,000 of my money that I didn't have to get involved to
Right.
run for school board and just kind of see how that political juggernaut
It's
works.
wild.
It is.
It is crazy. My good buddy Jody Barrett, he's the state representative in the 69th district, which is one of the greatest numbers out there for Tennessee. And he stop it, y'all are dirty. But what was interesting is I love it. John Rich is a good buddy of his. John Rich came from our county where he went to school, and so we work a lot with him. And I do all their media stuff. And John, when he came in, the first time he spoke, and me and Jody are good buddies, but I didn't know this aspect of it. John was like, look, the reason that I'm supporting Jody is because he didn't want to be a politician. And I think there's a lot behind that. I think there's some people that we need people that don't want to be politicians that want to change the country.
George Washington.
Yep, thank you very much. That's it.
It's always the person that doesn't want to do it that's going to make the biggest change because they know the change needs to be made.
That's exactly right. And he's come in and he doesn't care. And this is not a pitch for Jody. This is a pitch for this kind of person. Like, he came in, he didn't care about the politics. So he immediately came in and started fighting. We had the Tennessee 3 that happened for a second where a couple of the state reps from the Memphis area just started
Right-
throwing
right come
huge
up right
fits.
after the shooting.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Right after the shooting and all that mess, and Jody was the first one to step up and be like, "No, we ain't doing this." And he called the speaker on. He called everybody on stuff. He's like, "Look, I'm here. This is my job. This is what I'm supposed to do." And he looks at it like it's a job, not like it's a political opportunity. And we need more of that.
Well,
That look at it as a business.
I think that's why Trump won,
That's exactly why Trump run.
and that's
Yeah.
why I voted for Ross Perot back in the '90s.
Right.
First time I could vote.
Was it?
Yeah, I didn't vote for Bush. I voted for Ross Perot.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
He was
because
a,
he's a businessman.
he's a businessman.
And I thought the country needed to be run like a
That's what
business.
I've said about Trump. The thing is, at the end of the day, whether or not I like Trump or not like Trump, at the end of the day, he did what was right for our country, no matter what it was, and I appreciated that. And he ran it like a business. He may have been ugly, he may have hurt your feelings. That's fine. No more than I'm going to hurt your feelings if I see you out in public. Like I'm a dick. I get it.
I
So
think his policies literally brought two different nationalities, the Muslim and the Jewish people,
Right.
together to the table and had a ceasefire.
right,
It's happened. Oh, let me think. Never,
right.
ever.
Nobel Peace Prize? Oh
Yeah,
wait, no,
yeah,
that was
no.
that was Obama.
That was
All he
Obama.
literally had to do
Silly.
was
Doing
take away his
nothing.
social media because people got
Nothing.
offended.
Yeah.
Right. I loved it, and he was the only, and also, I mean, we look at it from a perspective of like, what's best for our country. Donald's not scared of anybody.
Yeah.
And I love that about him. Like somebody's gonna threaten him. He's like, no, okay, I'm cool with it. Come on. What do you think?
mean,
Please,
Look what he
please
did
come to
with
me.
Vince McMahon during
Yeah.
WrestleMania. Shake his hand. Vince McMahon
That's
got
it.
tough
That's
like
it.
that.
Okay. All right. We've been deep in politics. Let's come out of it for a second. Let's talk about SHOT Show 2024.
Oh, awesome.
Tell us about your experience so far, what you've seen on the floor, what kind of stuff you like, that kind of thing.
So I think this has been my 10th or 11th SHOT Show.
Okay.
And I started out working for other booths, being pro staff.
Right.
And so it's so massive, and it's growing with now the expansion of the Caesar.
Absolutely.
And it's just it's in some sense it's overwhelming. And my team, we got 6 people running around doing videos and
Nice,
photos and
nice.
B-roll and everything for current sponsors as well as prospective sponsors.
Right.
And a lot of cool products. When we went out to range day on Monday, we wanted to do some suppressor stuff, some
Okay.
full auto stuff. So we got our hands on the suppressors, some of the new stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then hitting the floor, just the new Henry lever action. 5.56
Right.
and 9 mil with the PMags that
So
it can take.
here's
Crazy.
one thing, and I love Henry. So this is not at all. When we picked up the Henry 5.56,
Mm-hmm.
it burnt the ever loving shit out of my hand. I've never touched a barrel that hot in my life. It felt like I touched a suppressor.
Interesting.
Isn't that weird? It wasn't that way on the non. I've never had that problem on another Henry, but on that one, when we touched it, Whittle attests as well. Burnt him, just about burnt through his glove. It was the
Wow.
hottest barrel I've ever touched. I don't know why, but that said, I love Henry. I absolutely. I mean, they're a standard. Even Smith and Wesson's trying to be like them.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Yeah, we start on that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah,
so,
I'm doing a 4570 lever action build, or not
Okay.
build, I shouldn't say build, but a project.
Right.
With a Henry 4570, and then we've got a primary arm scope.
Right.
We've got Hornady ammo. We've got a Tactical Life suppressor. And
Nice.
I'm basically using Mantis to check muzzle rise prior
that's
to
awesome.
being suppressed and after being suppressed.
Let's talk about Mantis because that's your world, right?
Yeah.
And so we haven't done. We were supposed to. I think we meet with him on Thursday or Friday to do some video content for YouTube. But Mantis has always been one of my favorite products out there. We talk a lot. We've talked a lot here about training and what training, all the different aspects of training. I think Mantis plays such a massive part in training that people are overlooking. And it's getting better, right?
Totally.
One thing that I loved about Elise at Mantis, they're I think she's the marketing manager, right?
exactly.
So Elise, when she came in, 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago,
About that.
she basically went through and found anybody that has ever posted a YouTube video about a gun. and was like, "We're gonna send you something. Please make us a video."
Yep.
I love that because it inundated the market with Mantis.
Yeah.
And I think that needed to happen because if you're going to sit at home and dry fire, there's not a better way. Or if you're going to go to the range and shoot, there's no better way to see what you're doing and what's your technique. Because we've all had the off days, right? I talked about it yesterday. The time where I wasn't shooting as much as I should have been. I went out and all of a sudden I'm shooting low left.
Yeah.
Hate to admit it, happened. It happens to all of us, or at least that's what I tell myself. Don't say anything different. But immediately throwing the Mantis on and being like, okay, let's see what it's reading, because you can't fight with something that is that accurate.
Well, I think people have a misconception that just dry fire training without any kind of feedback on that is good. And
Right.
when dry fire is good, I mean, you could sit there all day long and point at doorknobs, light switches, and pictures of relatives on the wall that you don't like and dry fire all you want. But if you don't have any feedback telling you how well you're doing, you could be building bad training scars.
That's right.
So Mantis gives you that feedback of how well you're doing. And Mantis has been a sponsor of Meet the Presser since the beginning. They're
That's awesome.
one of our prime sponsors since the beginning. So great company, great people, always coming up with new innovative things, always trying to make what they have created better
Right.
based on user feedback. I mean, what could you ask for more, right?
Right.
But the just the ingenuity behind the products and being able to use those products, we came up with a statement: it helps shooters suck less.
I like that.
And they kind of use that in their marketing now
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we Clint and I came up with that in the beginning. I don't remember which one it was, but one of us popped
Right.
it off and we're like, it's actually pretty good.
It
So-
was you, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, maybe.
Screw
But-
Clint. He's not here. He's not even Kim microphone. Yeah.
Literally listening.
Yeah.
He
okay.
might be. He just landed and this text started flowing.
Oh
in.
yeah, yeah.
But yes, so it helps shooters suck less, and
Right.
and that's the big thing. And so you notice you got the gun. It's telling you what kind of XY axis that muzzle's moving before, during, and after the shot. Like taking that photo, the
Right.
the I don't even know what they call it, but the active photo where you take the photo and it shows you a little bit of movement before and after. It's kind of like that.
Right.
It takes a little screenshot of before, during, and after the shot to tell you how that muzzle moved during that process.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what you're aiming at. Whatever you're aiming at, be as stable as you can while you press that trigger, while you go through
That's
that
right.
full trigger press. And that's that's the important part, because you get somebody who's over too much trigger finger, too little trigger finger. You're anticipating the recoil, you're healing it, whatever, and it's going to tell you that. Now they've got other the Laser Academy, and now they've got a new simulator coming out where you can actually get that feedback, because people want that too,
Right.
You want to see where that shot impacted, kind of thing.
The
Peanut gallery?
the more cooked version of Creekside Consulting is waving at me. Do you have something to tell me, Curtis?
Party time.
Oh, you got to go. Okay, we've got to say bye to Michael. He's got to go to Rob's. Yep, we've got Charlie here. We've got another guest here, riding shotgun with Charlie. Sorry, I haven't even got to meet him yet, so I'm just going to bring him straight on the podcast and meet him right here. That's what we would do. Michael, thank you for being here.
Keep that.
Aw,
Oh, that's sweet. He gave you a holster.
Creekside, baby.
He hasn't given me shit.
Herpes.
I hope you trip on the way to Rob's
I
thing.
actually
Herpes.
Herpes is the only thing that he gave me, but that's beside the point. I think, Michael, or I think you might be needing. Oh, a microphone. Y'all want to put a microphone on him?
Yeah, we like them.
Yeah, y'all put a microphone on him.
We want to hear him talk.
Yeah. Do you want mine, or do you have another one? God, your mic is murdering me. I'm sorry. It doesn't, I don't know that it gets better.
Long black.
Oh, I like that.
Oh my.
Riding shotgun with Charlie.
Yes.
On YouTube, right? Y'all know each other.
Yeah.
Right. We'll admit this We'll admit this publicly.
Okay. All right. So obviously you're Charlie. Your channel is pretty cool because I love the concept. So I know we've never got to meet. My background is I am a producer. So I own a production company. We produce content for everybody that you can ever imagine. I've been doing it for 20-something years. We've been with everybody from ESPN to Miss Universe to everybody in the outdoors industry. Been across the board. This is my fun land, right? And so your concept is for your YouTube channel is actually one of my favorite concepts in the entire world. It consists of throwing a couple of GoPros or Osmos up in your car and rolling around and talking.
That is really it. So I came up with the idea. I didn't come up with the idea. I stole the idea from James Corden with Carpool Karaoke.
Okay.
And he's chubby and he's English.
Okay.
And I'm chubby and I speak English.
Right.
So
That's
I'm like,
what
yeah,
a
this-
great common ground.
Right. This can't be that hard to do.
Yeah. No, I dig it because I think I've always thought. In fact, I pushed Chad in our show this year to do that for one of his segments. I believe that the most honest and fun conversation happens while you're riding around in the car.
Nothing against your little format. Your format here.
Yeah, my
Or-
little
a
format. Okay, yeah, no, yeah, nothing against this shit, but yeah.
But what it comes down to is people have different conversations when they're in the car.
Absolutely.
And at one point, my son was in his mid-teenage years. It seemed like the only time he would really talk to me and talk about things is when we were in the car and he didn't have to look at me.
Right.
So
That's Fair.
right?
Okay.
Right. So the kids open up a little bit more when you're in the car and they're driving. And I thought this was a great way to talk to gun folks. And I'd been a gun instructor for a while, and I wanted to start a podcast. And
Right.
I'm trying to record everything with a blanket over my head, sitting on the bed, and then going in the closet and trying to record stuff in there. And it never worked out. So I'm like, forget this, man. This is ridiculous. And then I saw Carpool Karaoke, and I wanted to be a rock star.
Obviously.
Right.
That's the right reaction to that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm a gun instructor. I want to talk to gun folks. These are really cool people, and I'm gonna start a show and call it Riding Shotgun. And
I love it.
WritingShotgun.com was taken, so I'm like, I'm just gonna call it Riding Shotgun with Charlie. It's really high tech stuff. Yeah, really high tech stuff. Yeah, splitting the atom over here.
I
right?
mean, just getting it. I like that. You put a lot of time and effort into it, and I appreciate that. No, but it is cool because this is this is what we're used to seeing: is people sitting on the couch, sitting at
Yeah.
the table, everything else. Right? Have you ever gotten a wreck while driving around?
No, but I just filmed a show with Jake Wiskirchen from Walk the Talk America, and we
Right.
saw some guy on a motorcycle, like flipping a wheelie up. I'm like, dude, we should run over that guy. And,
Could you
and he says,
imagine?
and he says, I don't have murder insurance. Let's not do that. So,
So,
I'm like, all right.
so do you do it in your vehicle all the time, or do you rent vehicles?
If you, it all depends.
Okay.
It all depends on where I go. So I've done show. When I started doing the show, I had are you ready for this? A Nissan Sentra.
Yes.
Very uncool.
Very
uncool.
uncool. Yeah.
But it was paid for, so I got better gas mileage. So.
That's right.
And then I got a new car. I got a Dodge Charger in 2020.
No way. Good for
Yeah.
you. That's awesome.
So it is, and I bought it used with 80,000 miles, and I have 249,000 miles on it in just under 4 years. Yeah, and I've driven to Sioux Falls. I did a Mag 40 class, and on the way out to Sioux Falls, I did a show in Indiana. I did a show in Iowa, then 3 in Sioux Falls, 1 in Nebraska on the way back, and 1 in Kansas on the way back.
So do you ever just stop and get random people to get in your car? I think that would be my flaw with this. Is like it would be like a free candy jump, kind of thing.
Right.
Right. Is that what happens?
No,
Tell us the truth.
I've never picked up strangers.
What's the weirdest thing that's happened in your car while recording? Can we get
The weird, nothing. I don't think I've had anything really strange. I've had microphones. The cameras fall.
Oh, yeah.
The suction cup comes off, and yeah, I've had that happen. I've had the microphone stop working. I did a show with somebody one time. I got the 3 cameras lined up. Everything's going really well. And this is when I realized I was a bad instructor, because I told the guy, I said, there's a button on the top that's the start button. I need you to push it down. So he pushes it down, and the camera went from this to this.
Yep.
So I went from having him framed here to having him framed from
nice? Just a good right. Look at my eyes. Yeah.
Exactly. From the mustache area, from his mouth on down. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't use that. Can't use that video. So
Right.
I have to do a little bit more creative editing then.
Right.
Yeah.
You've piled some people in your car too. You've had a couple where you've recently, I think, right? Or maybe not, but
A couple years ago, I did some shows at a Florida Carry event, and I did essentially a greatest hits.
Right.
I had John Petrolino in the front seat. He's a full-figured man, if you know what I mean.
right,
So-
right, not small.
Right. Sorry, John. And then I had Danny and Cheryl Todd in the back seat with Patrick Collins, and we had Amy Dillon. Do you guys know Amy Dillon?
Yeah.
4 feet, 4 feet and 10 3/4 inches.
Right. Tiny.
We had her lay across everyone's lap in the back because there wasn't enough room in the car. And it's great. We're driving on the road in Florida. There's a cop right next to us. We got a carload full of people.
Man, that's awesome.
No problems, no issues.
problems.
Everything was fine.
That's fun. I'll tell you, so during COVID, I'm a people person. I've got to be around people. And obviously COVID happened and shut us all down, and I was stuck with my kids and my wife. And that was rough. Now, I love my wife, don't get me wrong, and I love my kids. I love my kids. The coolest kids ever. But, they're kids. Their kids are kids, right? So I was going crazy. I was like, you know what? I'm going to drive Uber. That
Oh
was
my
my big
gosh.
idea. Yeah, well, I love driving and I love people. I was like, this might be fun. I didn't need the money, but I was like, I'm going crazy. I'm going crazy
Right.
stuck in the house. And so I started driving Uber during COVID, which was weird anyways. The day that I stopped driving Uber is when I'm driving down the road and I look in my rearview mirror and clothes are coming off of the people in the back of my Jeep.
Oh my.
I was like,
You
whoa.
right there.
With me right there, they did not care, and I didn't stop them. I was like, you know what? I'm getting a tip today, boys, and so is she. So you know what? It's they just
Maybe more. Maybe
Expect
maybe.
that New York City, not Tennessee.
no,
Right.
dude, Nashville's wild. Have you been to Nashville recently?
Yeah, not recently.
Oh my God, it is bachelorette's like capital of the world. You would not believe what Nashville has turned into.
It's absolutely nuts. I used to play in a band down on Second Ave in Nashville, and my daughter goes to college there.
Okay, Belmont, right?
She goes to Belmont. Yes.
Okay, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is why I went out and started doing Uber as well.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
So you're driving around Nashville. This was great. I'm going to say this because my ex-wife doesn't watch any shows I do, and my kids don't either. But of course, I send my daughter a link. I'm like, hey, I'm about to go on the show.
Right.
So anyway, we're riding around. They have these carts where people pedal the carts and they drink and they sit there and drink and pedal these
pedal
carts.
tavern
Yeah.
things, yeah.
And so there's like you said, bachelorettes walking all over the place, and my ex-wife is she's not what's her name? She's on her third husband.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Who's the old actress? She's not Elizabeth Taylor.
Oh, okay. Okay.
She's
yeah.
not Elizabeth Taylor, but she's on her third husband. And so my wife or my ex-wife was like, she's like, Sophia, people don't really get this excited when people really don't go out and do this. And I'm like, well, not for their third wedding, they don't, but maybe for the first wedding they might go out.
Yeah, it is. Nashville is Nashville is weird, man. We grew up in Nashville too. Both of us grew up. We actually went to school together, and and we both went to the private school because we got kicked out of the public schools. It's fine, but
Close up card.
yeah, I can't tell you. Legally on YouTube.
That's how we learned.
Yeah, but we grew up in Nashville, and so I started in the industry very young, very lucky, very blessed. So at 16, I picked up a job with a guy named Carl P. Mayfield. It was Carl P. and the P Team on 103 WKDF. We were the #1 radio show in the country. I was his associate producer. I had no idea what I was walking into. I was walking into like every Wednesday I spent with Waylon Jennings for years when he was in town. You know what I mean? So stuff, and I can tell stories like that all day long. I'm so honestly blessed for what I walked into. But Nashville then was a different ballgame. You could at 16 years old, I could walk into a bar in Nashville and drink. No one batted an eye. If there was a problem in the bar in Nashville, then you would step outside, you'd beat the shit out of each other, you'd shake hands, you'd go back in, you'd pick up the other dude's
buy him a
cowboy
drink,
hat,
yeah.
and you'd buy him a drink. Like, that's how we grew up in Nashville. Now Nashville has turned into an absolute cesspool of garbage. And so it's wild how bad Nashville has gotten. He can't read that.
I can't read that.
What is that chicken scratch? It's something about Moss. Talk about
When I interviewed Moss.
Someone wants to know when you tried to kidnap Moss.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
you kidnapped Moss!
Masano.
No,
Let's stop
no,
everything.
No. So, all right. So how freely can we speak?
As freely as you want to speak.
All right, so-
we were talking about jacking off rifles on Monday, so you're probably
Oh,
going to
my.
be fine. Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
So I'm interviewing Moss down in Florida at a Florida Carry event, and I get him in the car, and he's like, "All right, so what's the story with swearing on your show?"
That's so perfect.
And I say, if people swear, people swear. If I have to edit it out, I'll edit it out. He's like, "Let's go with court rules." I said, "Okay, Moss, what are court rules?"
Right.
And he says, "If it's a direct quote, then it's fine. So if a man tried to beat his wife and they're in court and whatever, and they ask her what the man said, he says, you can say, he tried to kill you. He said, I'm going to kill you, you fucking cunt. Then you can say in court, he said, I'm going to kill you, you fucking cunt."
Okay, so as long as it's
And
a
I'm
direct
like,
quote, we're
as
good.
long as it's a direct quote.
Yeah.
So I'm driving around. I'm like in this area. I don't know where the hell I'm at. I'm in California, Florida somewhere. And I'm like, my objective is just to drive some big square. Is really what it is.
Is that
right?
what, do you just drive circles?
It all depends.
Okay, sorry, I got sidetracked. Go ahead.
It
Yeah.
all depends on where we are, right?
Right.
So I'm filming this, and I'm like, I'm on the last, like the third side of the square, and I'm like, okay, I know there's an airport that's on the left-hand side because when I went to the campgrounds, it was on the right-hand side. I don't think I've seen it yet. So I make a left-hand turn, I make a U-turn, and I keep driving, and I'm like, I haven't seen the airport yet. I make another U-turn, and I keep going until I find that airport, and then I turn around again. I don't know if Mass is picking up on any of this.
Right.
So
He does for sure. Yeah.
you got to pay attention to the situation. So I say to we're about to we finally get on the right road, and we're about to get back to the campgrounds, and I'm like, all right, well, you don't have to call Gail and tell her we're on the way. He says, this is the first time that an Arab has been kidnapped. I'm like, this is gold. It's
so good.
absolute gold.
So I got to tell a story.
Oh,
About that.
please. Yeah.
So I go to Ileta every year, and what?
Oh,
Here, you want mine?
Oh, you can't hear me
You want him to have mine? No?
at all? Okay. How's that? Is that better?
Oh, whisper.
All right.
Real sweet and
So
sexy.
so I have I go to Ileta every year. Or I haven't gone in a while, but when I go and I see Mas, and every year celebratory, hey, let's get a photo, Mas. We go up and do a selfie, and right after, this was after he had the negligent discharge with a
Right,
revolver.
right.
I said, have your classes had any kind of drop or anything like that? He goes, no, it was just typical. An Arab shooting a gun into the air. That was Mas. Now he says that, and my quick witty response was, well, at least it wasn't an AK. And he goes, you fucker.
That's racist.
And like literally, I'm thinking because I didn't know him. I would get a photo with him every
Right,
year.
right.
We hosted him. Clint and I hosted him for the Deadly Force Instructor certification last year.
Okay.
And 2 years ago. And so I didn't know him. And I'm thinking he's pissed at me. But then years later, I'm like, oh, he's not pissed.
He don't care.
No, he didn't care.
It's just
But
who
it
he
was
is,
just funny as hell.
Yeah,
it was funny as hell.
absolutely.
Like he said that, I'm like, oh, I think I offended him. And later, of course, I'm like, I didn't offend him, but it was just it
Yeah.
was funny as hell.
What
Yeah,
I've
he's
learned,
a great guy.
it's hard to offend people in our industry because we're all assholes. That's what I finally learned, and that's just the truth of it. Like,
Right.
we all are what we are.
It goes back to that, you get in a fight in high school, you get in a fight, you beat the shit out of each other, and then you're
That's it.
best friends.
Yeah,
Nowadays, like, you beat the shit out of somebody, they want to shoot you.
that's it.
right. They're gonna sue
And you got to go to court.
You
Yeah.
go to court,
Yeah, that's the worst. Going to court's terrible. Whit knows. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know that he's been to court. Maybe. Whit knows.
Say maybe.
We've all been to court once
Look
or
at the
twice.
smile on his face. It
I
says,
know. It
yeah,
says a lot.
probably.
Says a lot.
It's that the statute of limitations is passed.
Right. He said we're good now. Yeah. Hey, so we've gone around the globe here a little bit with this conversation. I want to come back and let's talk about. Well, first, before we get into this, let's talk about SHOT Show for you. Obviously, you've been getting to walk around, see cool stuff or not cool stuff.
No.
Oh my God!
There's
You've
a lot
just been
of
driving around talking to people, haven't you?
almost.
Yeah. Okay.
Almost. So one of the things that I'm doing this year is I'm doing live broadcasts from the Samson booth.
Really?
Yes.
How's that been?
Great. On Monday. On Tuesday we had Cody Wisniewski from
Okay.
FPC.
Yeah.
And then we had Jim Irvine from Faster Saves Lives.
Nice.
Today we had Ben. Oh gosh, I'm going to screw his name up. Ben Carrington from GOA.
Okay.
And then Stephen Wilford came by. And then I had Tony Simon from the Diversity Shoot.
Nice.
And tomorrow I'm going to have Alan Gottlieb from SAF, Yehuda Reamer, the Pew Pew Jew, and Robin Sandoval from Girl and a Gun.
How's Pew Pew Jew? He's one I haven't really been around. Like.
He's a
Is he
fucking
good
riot.
people?
Oh my God. I was at his house a couple years ago. We have this thing called AMCON. It's the Alternative Multimedia Conference, and it's the day before Gun Rights Policy Conference. But in 21, I think it was, we did 2 days of AMCON because they had a virtual GRPC. So I went to dinner at his house. He had a bunch of people over, Cheryl Todd and Katie
Right.
and the Locked and Loaded Latinos, and we're having dinner at Yehuda's house. We're breaking bread and the whole thing on a Friday night. So we leave at like 11:30, and someone shut the light off in the bathroom. So Yehuda comes running out. We're like, hey, well, Sarah, good to see you. Good to see you. Take care. Bye bye. He comes running out. He says, listen, I would never ask you guys to do something that I wouldn't do.
Oh God, those are my favorite conversations that start like that. You know you're gonna get in some shit immediately.
But right, I wouldn't ask you guys to do anything I wouldn't do. But would you guys come in and put the light on in the bathroom because somebody turned it off? It's- yeah, you can't-
Right, you can't touch electronics. Yeah.
Exactly. So somebody had to go in at 11:30, and I put the light back on in the bathroom.
Oh my God, y'all should have just
Funny.
left it, walked, just let him really live in that moment. So is it hard? Sorry, we're all over the place, and that's fine. I like that. Tell me, for someone who's sitting and talking all day, obviously this in
I filmed a show with you guys. You guys on Monday.
That's all the
I had to borrow their car.
Oh,
Nice.
Monday, yeah, we recorded on.
Yep, on
Okay.
middle of range day.
He took us
Nice.
around the desert.
Did he?
Desert,
Did he
yes.
get weird?
We're-
Okay.
We're trying to find some place to put the bodies. We were
the
like, somebody,
desert,
somebody,
anywhere.
somebody here has to have.
It's
a back-
Nevada. It's fine.
Someone's
Honestly,
got to have a
though,
backhoe.
I was worried because I don't have insurance on the truck. Honestly, when you were
That's
driving,
encouraging.
Bro,
Oh,
you can't go to the
please.
desert and not get insurance on your vehicle.
Well,
we were.
I got insurance in my normal car that transfers over.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I didn't get extra insurance.
No, I get extra insurance when I come to Nevada because we came. Me and my wife came. I don't know, a long time ago, and we rented a Mustang. I don't know why, but I had to get extra. I had to get extra insurance because we took it four wheeling. So that was the right thing to do. We took it on some trails that a Mustang should never be on, and tore the absolute dog shit out of that car, and had the most fun of our lives.
Nice.
Oh, it's so much good.
You had the insurance and you're not afraid.
Yeah,
You-
took it back
you're
and
not-
dropped it off, and
you're
they
not-
looked at me. They're like, "What the hell?" I was like, "I mean, it's the roads are rough here, bro. I don't know what to tell
Wait.
you."
I like to say you have the insurance and you're not afraid to use
That's
it.
it. Yeah. So, is it hard this year that you're doing shows all day long? I'm talking from a production standpoint for a minute, but is it hard just being on all day?
What's exhausting is being back and forth. Samson is over in Caesar's Forum.
Right.
I think like the furthest away, right?
Yeah.
Like there's like 7 rows.
Farthest corner. Yeah.
Yeah. And then coming back here for something, and then trying to catch up with everyone else. And I did a show with I filmed a show with Jake Excursion today from Walk the Talk America. So
Nice.
that takes a lot of time, and then you want to just go to the media room and compress. And I'm here with a couple buddies, a
Mm-hmm.
little entourage, and they're like they want to get the max out of everything. So
Right.
like we're gonna stay here until 4:45, and I'm like we're gonna get stuck in so many people. And and we get back to our room at like 5:40, and the other guy's like, "All right, so my hotel's about 10 minutes from here,
Right.
10 or 15 minutes. Why don't you guys come meet me in a half hour?" I'm like,
Right.
"Dude, we're still 10 minutes from our room,
That's right.
and I just want to go get some rest."
That's one of the biggest things I've learned at SHOT Show from a media perspective is, and this is the first year I've stayed here. This is where I sleep, which is awesome. But I've never done this before. It's way too much money. I can never afford it before, and don't tell my wife. But staying here has been great. But I'm also big about in the production world of like we have to be on all the time. People expect the best from us. They expect the best production from your camera guys. They expect
Right.
the best from us when we're in front of camera, right? You can't do that if you beat the dog shit out of everybody all day long. You can't
yeah.
expect to be the best every day. There's not many people that can carry that. And so that's one. I mean, you talk to anybody on our crew. I'm big up. Last night, everybody's like, "Okay, what time do we be there?" I'm like, "How about when you wake up? Let's just try that this year. Just when you wake
Right.
up, let's show up and let's do it." And I always get it at the press room as soon as it opens, and I sit down, I kind of decompress and get my thoughts for the day, do research, all that kind of stuff. But like, everybody kind of rolls in at their own time. And what I found is it's so much better for the team. It's so much, you get so much better content. Everybody's so much more on their game. They get rest. And then when we're done, we're done. We used to come in, I used to work for a company called Rated Red. Rated Red was an interesting company. It was a digital media company. It was owned by Complex. It was actually owned by Hearst. So far left company bought this company and said, "We want you to be the we want you to build this audience within the heartland because we want you to do promotional material for Go90, which was Verizon's Netflix kind of thing, right?" So that's why we were formed. And so I was brought in, and when I came in, I was probably the only person who sat on the right side of the aisle of the entire, at that time, 20 or 30 person staff of this channel that was meant to reach the heartland. Like I could pull out a shotgun and he'd be like, "Oh, so that's a rifle." I was like, "Oh God, we are in a bad place here, right?"
Well, thank God he didn't say, "Hey, that's an AR, isn't it?"
Yeah, right. And so, but we used to come with them, and I remember the first time we came with them, we brought 3 crews, and they said we want to shoot 10 videos a day for every crew. We're pulling in 30 videos a day total. You want to talk about absolutely, here's my problem with that from SHOT Show. When you're covering SHOT Show and you start seeing a channel that's pushing out that much content, you're not getting the best out of that channel.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, because at some point you're just sitting there reading a script. You have no idea if the product you're talking about is even good. And so slowing down a little bit has allowed, I know on our end, has allowed us to slow down and actually spend time with the product and be like, okay, is this video that we're doing actually going to be good for the consumer? But it's hard, when you're sitting behind the microphone. And that's why I was
Yeah,
curious, because
you're-
everybody different. And I know you're in front of camera or, behind microphone or behind camera all day as well. What's it like for you? Do you feel like you have a hard reset time, or do you feel like you can go pretty?
Well, my one of the problems. Oh, I guess we need.
Oh,
this for our
jeez.
live. We don't have enough mics.
So, yeah, I think you just corrupted my crew. 'Cause as you're saying that, they're smiling at me like, "You're a fucking asshole. These guys have been doing it for all this while, and they're a great crew.
so,
and you make me work until what? I run them
I'm
ragged.
sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Like, what time we getting
yeah.
up? 6 o'clock. What time we got to be at the show? 7.
7.
What time we done? Midnight. Like, they're like, you're killing me.
Yeah, I'm sorry about
I don't
that.
get
I didn't
paid
mean
enough.
to. I lied about all of it. None of that's true.
But
yeah.
no, I mean that's valid. I mean, we're here, we spend the money. I mean, this isn't a cheap, endeavor.
It's not.
It's very expensive
It
to get out
is.
here. I mean, in some sense, the dinners and the lunches, and there's some places you can go and get free alcohol. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But there are big expenses here in Vegas. So it does have to be a happy medium. And we interviewed John Lovell yesterday, and he really. It's all. This is another good thing about these conversations where we bring ourselves back to why do we do this? We do this because we love it, because
Right.
we want to get the message out there, because we love the relationships, the
Right.
camaraderie, stuff like that. And at some point we just keep going, and we burn relationships because we're so burnt out.
Right.
We say things we probably wouldn't say if we were well
That's
rested.
right.
So there's valid. It's valid.
It is, and so and I like what you said about SHOT Shows not cheap. People don't realize. People just expect content to come from us, but they don't realize that just for me alone to come to SHOT Show is going to be $3 or $4 grand by the time I pay for airfare, hotel, food, everything else, and that's really on the cheap side.
Yeah.
And
And
by
the
the time-
sponsors helps offset that.
Right, but still, and so coming to SHOT Show is an undertaking that not many people realize how tough it is, and I can tell that every year. And I don't mean this as any shade towards them at all, but towards the Blade HQ staff, because every year they've got new people in. They've replaced and replaced and replaced and replaced. And I don't mean that any
Turnover.
ugly towards them. Yeah, they just have a heavy turnover for SHOT Show because it's such a demanding show. And let's be honest, there's 2,600 booths. How do you cover everything that everybody
way.
wants to see here? You can't.
Right. Yeah, you really can't. And I've noticed what I try to do. Last year I was running around with one of my buddies, and the objective is he's actually starting a review website
Right.
called the Square Review, and he's
Okay.
just trying to review stuff. Doesn't matter what he's got. We were on a trip in oh my god, it was last July.
Do you need more? Let's stop right there.
Maybe.
What was it?
I don't know.
Amy!
No, it's right there.
Oh, was it Jack?
Yep. Was it?
Well, there it
It
is.
was orange though.
It was past.
Oh
tense.
no, then it was Tito's and she put some.
I don't know. She
You
may
got
have,
vodka.
no, she poured Jack.
Oh, did she?
It's a lot.
Well, there's Jack if
no,
you
she-
like some. If
she
not,
got some
let 'em
Jack
know.
for me.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I want to
No,
make
it's
sure
all
everybody has
No,
flowing
excuse
drinks
me.
because SHOT Show's expensive.
You got Jack.
Right.
Okay, well then there's Jack. I'll let you pour your own. I won't do that for you.
Charlie got Jack.
Oh yeah, I had the Jack. Yeah.
Charlie's Jack.
Right.
Okay. Well, when Amy comes back, we'll figure out what he had. There's Amy. Amy.
What?
We need some more alcohol down here, real quick. Yeah, we don't know what he was drinking. Do you? What was he drinking?
Oh, Cheetos, I got 'em.
Okay, thank you, Amy.
So and I don't want to forget because I am a little tipsy.
Yes.
I will not be driving. But you might be.
Oh, there you go.
So we have a collaborative show that came up because Clint, my co-host on Meet the Pressers, ended up taking a full-time gig with the industry company.
Oh, good for him.
And because of that, the contract said that he couldn't, do any kind of promotional stuff. So
Right, right.
we had guest co-host, and during that process, I said, I really want to change it. When we first started Meet the Pressers, we decided that we didn't want to do live because we didn't have a following at that point.
Right.
It didn't make sense, right?
That's me right now. I get it. Yeah. Yeah, no
get
one's
one-
watching this, but my mom.
You get your little show. That's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, we're having a great time. Yeah.
You get one or two pop-ups on there, and you're like, wow, it's just the one.
Yeah.
But over time, we get a bigger following.
Right.
We got more people that are watching, and and I said, maybe now's the time to do live. I mean, what the hell we got to lose, right?
Right.
So I was looking around, and I'm like, who could I have collaborate with this that's that's equal and commensurate, that could help, that's witty and that's smart, and
Thank you, Amy.
and I'm talking about you, Charlie, by the way.
Thank you.
I don't know if he's talking about me. Shit.
And so I came up with the idea of doing a collaborative show. Reached out to Charlie. He was like, yeah, sure, why not? And Charlie's so giving and loving. I'm drinking, so
Giving and loving.
I'm not
Giving and
as gushy as this normally,
Okay,
but
yeah, somebody write this down.
We're gonna hug it out later.
Oh, that's so sweet. We're not going to film that.
Thank
That's
you.
yes.
So Clint's gonna
Different
hug
show
this.
later at night. You
but
can go over the ABM awards to catch that later. Go ahead.
I thought it was the concrete convention. We're going to pound it out.
Oh, woo, all night. I hope he drinks more. This is only going to go downhill, and I'm here for all of it. I love sledding. Yeah, it's my favorite.
Anyway, so my point.
Please tell us your point. Okay.
Shit.
Was your Don interview this much fun? Your Don Jr. interview? No.
So Don Jr. is much more fun to talk to when you had a couple of drinks in you. Oh boy, look at the time. Look at the time. Huh?
Man, yeah, no, it's 6 o'clock. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but something for sure.
You know,
Yeah.
on the East Coast, it's
Yeah,
9.
yeah, that's right.
So we decided to do a show together, and we put it out on all of our social medias, and we have the people that we had on our shows that we enjoyed having on, and that were fun to have on. So, we've had we had Stephen Williford, we had Michael Bain, which was really cool. We've just had a ton of people that were great to have on, and
Yeah.
we were good about it, but then somebody starts working really hard,
Yep.
and then I don't hear from him for 2 months.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Hey man, we need to do a show. Who do you got?" We need to do a show. Who do I have? Okay.
This is the first time I've heard he was begrudging by it.
Right. We are.
I
Having,
love finding
we are
stuff
having
out
a couple
loud.
of drinks. We are having a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
So so it's been fun. We've been doing. This is what's wild. We've been doing this for what, 2 years now.
2 years, yeah.
Yeah, 2 years. So it's pretty cool. It's we get on streaks. It's like a lot of things. You do it when you can. When you find your time. You find you get a little more time
Right.
here, and training kicks in, and you're traveling around the country and everything. So then we do it a little bit less,
Right.
but then something happens, or whatever. Somebody's hot in the news, and we're like, hey, we had them on the show. Let's have them on again. Let's do a
Yeah.
live show with them.
People don't realize that in our industry, for the most part, and obviously there's some caveats to this, but for the most part, most of us are working a real job so that we can do what we passionately love right here, right?
Right.
That's it. And so, and everything's different, but most people don't realize. Most people just, they watch the YouTube channels like, oh, that guy must make millions off of YouTube. God bless, let me tell you
Monopoly
something.
money.
At best.
So one of my goals is I want to film a show in every state,
Okay,
and I've filmed shows in 34 states so far.
okay.
I had somebody, and my deal is this: for what, and I don't know, whenever it was, I said whenever I go someplace, I got to film a show. So I took my daughter down to college. She wanted to visit Belmont.
Okay.
I reached out to Hickok 45. I'm like,
Right.
hey man, you want to be
I
on the
saw
show?
that. That was fun. He's a good dude.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Shockingly, we went to Cracker Barrel for breakfast.
He doesn't
Because
like
we
me.
went to Cracker Barrel because the Waffle House next to the Cracker Barrel was closed.
Oh, what?
It snowed. It was February of 21.
Okay, yep, I know exactly what
and
you're
there was
talking
snow,
about. That's
and
right.
the girl at the hotel, she's like, oh, I'm fixing to stay here for 3 days. I'm like, why? She's like, oh hell, you see that snow outside? Yeah, it's a couple of
Look,
inches.
calm
It's
down.
a little slushy.
No, stop.
Here we go.
Stop! Don't start with this shit. We just had the worst storm that's ever happened in history. We had 8 inches of snow, 8 inches, bro, and like a quarter inch of ice on top of it. It's a measurement that I actually don't know how to properly get. And you know what? It's this big. I'm positive.
You guys hear about the one-handed fisherman?
Oh God.
He had a fish. He caught a fish. It was this big.
But like we shut down, bro.
Absolutely.
When did I come in? Last Sunday?
Yes.
Right? And when I flew out on Sunday, there was still a couple inches on the ground. School went back today.
Oh
So
my
it's been a
God,
week and a
yeah.
half for 8 inches. And it was bad. It was fine. It wasn't the worst. But I drive in the snow. I don't mind driving in the snow. I drive for shows. I'm up north all the time. I'm in Canada all the time. I'm a firefighter, so I'm the only one or one of 2 in our station that's checked off to drive trucks, our big trucks in the snow. It's like I'm used to driving fire engines in the snow. Like, which, by the way, did y'all see the fire engine video? Oh my God! Anyways, you saw what I'm talking about. It was wild. Where he came down a street, flipped. It was a ladder and flipped the whole thing. It was wild. Anyways, but that said, I know how to drive in the snow. But yeah, Southerners do absolutely freak out about the snow. And if we get an inch or more, that's that.
That's it. So this is what I said to Hickok. I'm like, so what are you guys doing in the snow down here? He's like, oh, we just wait for it to melt. It's gone the next day.
We were always okay until one year I was like, you know what is weird about your daughter is that she looks just like you, but also she's attractive, and I don't understand. And he said, well, shit, Luke. I said, that's fair. We was there for that. Yep.
That's fair. Oh my God.
Witnessing that.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's good people. What's fun is Tennessee's got another one, great one that comes out of Tennessee. I don't know if you've ever got to do with him. Is Plinkster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he's out of Tennessee as well, out of Stewart County, just north of us. And he's a good dude as well. And It's
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Yeah, I met him at the IB 8888 a couple years ago.
Right.
Yeah, Eric's
Yeah.
dad's event.
Yeah. So what I decided to do is I'm like, I don't care where I'm going. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'm gonna contact somebody or reach out to my friends and be like, hey, who do you know in this area? I'm going to fill in.
Kidnap them.
Right.
Sorry.
And then bring them to a
If
desert.
that's
in
not
Nevada.
how your show premise moves forward from now, I will not watch it. So if you are not bagging people with corn bags and throwing them in your trunks,
It's a one-way ride, is what it is. At the end of the show is me driving in the car by myself.
right?
Look in the trunk.
Yeah.
It's a rental.
That's right.
Hey, you've had a lot of situations where people have, they've been in situations like, who's this Charlie? And
Oh
he's
my
driving
God.
me around.
Yeah,
Can you
this
tell
is
us
great.
about
So-
it? Those
so
are
I-
funny as hell.
You don't, when you start off, you don't know anyone, and so you reach out to the people you do know, and
Right.
then things just start to grow and start to grow. But before it starts to grow, people just don't know who you are. So I live in Massachusetts, and I reached out to Tatiana Whitlock,
Okay.
right, the Tactical Pixie.
Right.
And so I'm like, I'm gonna send her an email. Hi, my name is Charlie.
But that wasn't
I-
weird at all.
I know,
No.
right? Right. Hi, my name is Charlie. I have a YouTube channel where I drive people around in the car. I would love to have you on the show. Please let me know if you're interested. Right? And then so she messages Robin Sandoval. She's like, who's this Charlie guy? And why does he what's gonna happen with me? What's he want to do?
Why does he want me in his car for?
Right.
Yeah.
And Robin's like, oh my God, it's going to be fun. It'll be fine. Another one was Holly Sullivan from the Connecticut Citizens Defense League.
Right.
I met her at a Cabela's parking lot in Hartford.
That's
and
nice.
she's like, I don't know what I'm getting into, but I am damn sure I'm bringing a gun with me.
That's
and,
crazy.
And what's great is this. Last year at SHOT Show, Holly had an Airbnb.
Right.
God bless her, she sat through some timeshare rental nonsense to get a cheap deal on a house on an Airbnb here
Right.
in Vegas, and she had like 4 or 5 people stay there for a few nights, and it was
Okay.
great. And like this is, to me, this is what it's about. Like the gun folks are good people, contrary to what the media wants us to believe about gun folks, and we're great people, and then you become friends with these people,
Right,
you
right,
know.
right.
And I absolutely love this. So I'm walking around with one of my guys yesterday morning, and we ran into Ashley Lubinsky, the firearm historian.
Right.
I filmed a show with her in Dallas, Texas,
Okay.
and I'm like, we're 15 minutes from Dealey Plaza. We're going to talk about you for 15 minutes, and then since you're a historian, we're talking about the Kennedy assassination.
Yes. That's
And
the
then
only way to go.
And she's like, I really don't know much about the conspiracies about the Kennedy assassination. I'm like, I know plenty for both of us. We'll be good, right? So we ran into her, and she changes her hair color a lot.
Right.
So I ran into her. She comes, and she's a small, petite woman, very attractive. She comes walking up to me. She's like, hey, how you doing? And my buddy's like, who's this chick? I'm like, hey, good to see you. Gives me a hug. Good to see you. She's like, hey, I'm going to be around. Let me know if you want to grab a drink. You got
Right.
my number. Give me a call.
Right.
And we walk out. He's like, dude, how do all the chicks know who you are?
Right.
I'm like, this is what I do, right?
I just drive them around in my car all day.
That's right. That's what I do.
God, what a status.
This hunk over here now, just I want to say, he's single, so you know.
Oh, okay.
He's looking,
It's not just that I'm single. I'm undateable. Is really what it comes down to.
and his number is
Right.
75209.
Yeah, 5209, right.
I talked about that for $3.99 a minute.
What a great business plan
I'm
you have.
actually. If you look closer, there's a guy handing out my postcards on the street.
I love that.
So I was trying to talk to somebody about having you on, or having them on your show, and they're like, okay, so he drives around. What kind of cars you got? I'm like, whatever. What do you got? Like, what do you mean? Like, whatever.
He's gonna drive your car.
Yeah.
They're thinking like it's like you got this fantastic car. I'm like, it's not about the car. It's about the car.
it's like
It's
conversation,
right.
right.
So people, I have so many people. Right. I have so many friends like, oh my God, you know, it'd be really cool. You got to take these people to the range and do shooting with them. I'm like, I make no money.
Ammo.
I now have to rent guns in a state that I don't live. It's not enough that I travel to other states and I have people on the shows. I spend 4 to 5 hours editing a show. on my own, right?
Uh-huh.
And then I have to go to some other state, find a shooting range, see what guns I can rent, buy ammo. I'm like, I'm a one-man show.
Right.
I'm gonna hold the camera and talk to the people? Like, are you kidding me? Right. Like everybody's got a team except for me. Right?
God, I love
Oh
it.
my God.
So we got a couple individuals, Amy and David, saying as far as writing shotgun with Charlie, and
Yes.
also your gun grams.
My gun grams. So yes,
Talk
so
about those.
as if it's
Love
as,
that. No, please.
hijack.
No, look. Y'all have a good day. Y'all, thanks for coming. Yeah, y'all take
You
this.
took me to press.
That's fair. Now I'll trade you right now. Yeah, slip for
There
slip.
we
It's
go.
yours. Yeah.
all right. So before I started writing shotgun with Charlie, I've been a music teacher for, I don't know, I always tell my students since the 1900s. Right?
That's a very long fucking time.
This is what my kids say to me. They're like, "So how old are you, Mr. Cook?" I'm like, "I'm in my early hundreds," and they're like, "You only look like you're in your 60s." Oh, thanks, kids. I'm like, being right here. You know what? I'll take some of that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank God. Yeah.
I said being around young kids and playing music keeps me young, right? So in 2015, one of my buddies, very much a situation like this where we're having a couple of drinks. One of my buddies says, "Hey, you know what, man? Every time you talk about music, you get that little cool look in your eye, and every time you talk about gun stuff, it's the same little twinkle, right?"
Okay.
So he says, "You know what you should do? You should make a video where you play the trumpet with one hand and shoot a gun with the other."
Oh yes.
So he's like, "You need to do bum ba da da da." So I'm like,
That was
Thank you.
really good. I'm wildly impressed.
that's hot.
Yeah, that's 867-5209 is the number to call right now.
$3.99 a minute. So I went and did one of these. I did a God, what's Pincus's old class? CFS.
Yeah, combat focus.
Combat focus shooting. I did a combat focus shooting class with Pincus in 2013, and did the one-handed mag change.
Right.
So I did a one-handed mag change while I played the Blue Danube Waltz. Right.
No shit.
Like I don't know in 1.2 seconds or something crazy like
He
this.
still wasn't probably impressed, so it doesn't
No,
matter.
not at all.
No,
Not at all.
Absolute talk shit to you afterwards.
I cracked one of the notes on the trumpet, right? So he's like, "This is bullshit."
Oh, yeah.
I had another friend of mine. He's like, I showed them this video, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, you totally game this. Like, what do you expect me to do a mag change in the middle of? I got slide lock. I got a racket on my slide. Which honestly, that happened one time. I had a jam. I'm like, oh crap, I got to keep on playing and keep on shooting.
Right.
So I started doing these, and I called them gun grams. I got about 300 videos on YouTube. Markiplier, we're all old adults here, so nobody knows who Markiplier is, right?
No idea.
Okay, so he's, I don't know, he's a YouTube guy and video gamer or something. He has one of these try not to laugh videos.
Oh, okay.
And so he used one of those. I had a guy in France, his name is Joyka. I have no idea who he is.
Joyka.
Right, but he ended up using some of my videos for stuff. So all of a sudden, in 2015, I went from like being a nothing, nobody gun instructor guy, band teacher that I have a nun at one of my schools that calls me the Grim Reaper because I take the kids I take the kids out of class, right? Right.
You're ruining their lives.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I love it. I swear. This happened in December. I went to go get some. This is the day of our Christmas concert. I went to go get some kids out of class, and the nun says to me, she's like, "Oh, look, the Grim Reaper's here. Who are you here for today?" I want to look at her with a crooked finger and be like, "I'm coming for you, sister." Right? I totally do.
Oh.
So anyway, I started doing the gun gram videos, and then built myself an email address, and I got a phone call from this TV show called Right This Minute, which was
I
on-
like how you said I built myself an emaal address, like you worked really hard for
I know,
that.
it's really
like you didn't just go to Gmail and click create new account. Yeah. You
Yeah,
made
I found what I
it
did.
right.
charliesgungram@gmail.com.
Perfect. Thank you. Yep.
Right? I actually trademarked Gungram as well, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome. That is cool.
Yeah. And, yeah, okay. So anyway, so I started making the Gungram videos, and that was pretty cool. And, you get a phone call after this TV show. I got a phone call from a radio station in Jacksonville in Florida and El Paso and
Right.
stuff. And so that was pretty cool. And then I started writing Shotgun the year after that. And then I interviewed Amy in Dallas in 21. When they didn't have they had the 2 days of AmCon,
Right.
and so she messaged me like a month and a half later. She's like, "Hey, Trampus Swanson wants to talk to you about writing some articles. He's got a new thing he's doing called Armed Lifestyle Magazine. And
Right.
he wants you know, he wants you to write some articles for this.
Yeah.
Do you want to do it? I'm like, I fucking hate writing. I'd love to. It sounds great. What do
God.
I talked to Trampus. and
Isn't
he-
that just the basis of our industry? I hate this shit. Yeah, sign me up. I'll do it twice.
Right.
Yeah.
Before that, in 2019, I've been putting shows out for a while, trying around the country and emceeing concealed carry fashion shows, speaking at Gun Rights Policy Conference and stuff. And I got the Blogger of the Year award from the Second Amendment
kidding.
Foundation.
That's a big deal.
It was a big deal.
Right.
I ran around for 2 days. I'm like, Blogger of the Year. Didn't write a word. 'Cause that is how I roll, bitches. Right?
That's so good.
So then I talked to Freddie Reel at AmmoLand News.
Right.
And I said, hey, would you guys mind running my show? He's like, you got to write 600 words. I'm like,
Oh.
God.
I don't know if you've heard, but I'm Blogger of the Year. I don't know. I don't do that.
Right?
Yeah.
So Trampus, so Amy messages me. She's like, hey, you got to talk to Trampus. Trampus says, what do you do with your shows after you're done with them? I'm like, I go to the next one. Like, I keep on moving, man. Like, I set them up, knock them down. Set them up, knock them down. Set them
Right.
up, knock them down. So Trampus is like, we had this idea to do an article called Writing Shotgun with Charlie.
I
And
like that.
he's like, you go back and revisit the people you talked to.
Okay.
So what I started to do, this is, God bless John Petrolino, the Penn Patriot.
Right.
He's like, he's from Jersey. He's like, dude, here's what you gotta do. You gotta like,
Voices are solid.
this is what undateable. Do Trump right, like he does the thing with the mouth. Okay. Right,
So
right,
good.
right. So Trampus is like, we're gonna call it Writing Shotgun with Charlie, and Petrolino's like, you gotta interview these people again, and then write a big article about the two
That
interviews.
sounds exhausting. Yeah.
It completely is. So then I started recording. I'd go back and say, find out what the theme is for the article, and I'd be like, all right, what are we talking about this time, and what's the theme of the issue of Armed Lifestyle magazine, and he's like, do you have somebody who did this, or someone somebody related to this sort of thing? And I'm like, I do, and then I reach out to them. I'm like, hey, would you mind if we do another interview? And we're gonna talk, and we'll do it over Zoom. I'll get another video. I'll put another one up on YouTube, and it's been great, man. I absolutely love it. I
That's
went.
so cool.
I went at my day job. I got a nun that thinks I'm the Grim Reaper,
Right.
and
Which is a win in life.
right. And outside of school, I'm the internationally known, right? And I'm writing for AmmoLand. I'm writing for Armed Lifestyle magazine. I actually
Renowned Blogger of the Year.
Blogger of the Year.
Right. Right.
I got the Defender of Liberty Award from the Second Amendment Foundation in
Wow.
2017.
Man, you're doing big
And
things.
I know, and I started writing for news2a.com as well. They're a website out of New Jersey.
And you use AI for all of it, right? And you still haven't written a word to
know.
this day.
So I
still
am-
has not typed a word.
I am the artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
So it's not Writing Shotgun with Charlie, it's
Kevin
Writing AI.
Sona is asking about your Metallica gungram.
Oh, yeah. So Kevin Sona is from Florida Carry, and he invited me to speak at his event. And he's like, "Hey, we need to promote this." So
Right.
people are like, we need a gungram, and so I did a gungram of. Oh my God, what's the Metallica tune? It's not one of the cool ones. It's not one that
Well,
everyone
then I
knows.
don't know. Yeah.
Right, I know.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Don't tread on me.
Metallica.
What was
I mean,
it?
I like Metallica,
Don't
but
tread on me.
Yes, I did. I did a
okay.
gungram of "Don't Tread on Me" by
Okay,
Metallica,
yeah.
which was pretty cool.
that
so,
is awesome.
Yeah, this is pretty fun too. I got a friend that's a fan of Slayer, right? So it's not. So he's like, dude. So Slayer does weird shit in time signatures, right? Like weird time signatures.
Everything's odd. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, I need a gungram, and I want to do it as a proposal.
Oh God.
So right, so I'm
Yeah.
out there playing a little bit of Slayer, and he, I'm shooting a gun, and then he comes out, and he like proposed in front of his wife in front of this video,
No way.
and then I put the video up on YouTube, I sent it to him, and he gave it to his wife. He's like, oh hey, Charlie sent me a new gungram, let's check it
And
out.
that's how he proposed.
And that is exactly how he proposed to his
That
wife.
is super cool.
When he
Right?
said that, I thought he was going to say something like, I killed your wife. Isn't that Slayer?
That's for my ex-wife.
That's
Oh.
different audience. Yeah.
If I may.
Please.
So one of the things that I...
Hold on.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, do you want me to give him my mic? I mean, he's basically taking my job at this point. If he wants my mic, he can have it. Yeah.
We got to step our
I
production.
know
We got
my
to.
favorite topic. So ask me a question about me, and I'll tell you about it.
Ask me a question about me, I'll tell you about it.
Look, I'm gonna let y'all two have this. Take this one. Give that here. Take this
You
one for a
sure?
second.
But then
Yes.
you won't hear you. We gotta hear
Look,
you. You're
no,
the host.
Emma? Wait, since when? Take that one.
It used to be Lucas's show.
Yeah, it used to be Truth on the TV. At this point, it's Meet the Pressers.
Right,
And
Meet the
I'm
Pressers
down
and Riding Shotgun
I
with
think-
Charlie here
here's
on
actually what I'm
the
gonna
True
do
Southern
is-
TV.
I am a.
See you at the
I'm
Pinkest
gonna be
event in a
honest
bit.
for a second. I'm a big family man first. I've got a 5-year-old daughter at home who's having a rough time. My wife just texted me. I'm gonna let you take over my show for a second. I'm gonna go step outside and FaceTime my daughter.
He's gonna go
Is
be
that
dad.
cool?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
FaceTime her right now. This
I
is
would,
great.
but I don't trust any shit here to not ruin my daughter. That is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
And so
This is how somebody loses custody of their kids.
You want to come play with these dudes? Amy's gonna
Come on,
play.
girl.
Let's go.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Amy Lucas.
Just leaving the True Southern TV
Stealing
show is
stilettos. This is what I love about Amy, right? She's not even on a microphone yet. This is what I love about Amy. She has her own perfume.
Oh, I do.
I'm not that I'm jealous, but I'm like, God, I never even thought,
You
right?
do have your own perfume too, though.
I used to take Hoppy's number 9 and put it behind my ears, see if the chicks would enjoy it. This is also why I'm undateable. I'm putting Hoppy's behind my
Hoppies.
ears.
Like, what's that smell? What's that aroma?
You know.
It's actually unisex, so it's a pheromone that makes, it smells differently on everybody.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
It smells really good. They keep coming back for more.
Excellent. Hey now. Hey now.
I don't understand sign signals, David.
He's trying to say give Amy the mic because whatever you were talking about, that shit's gone.
Just point it. Point it. That's,
There you go.
I'm professional.
So Amy,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, Amy Lucas.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hey.
I told my daughter when she was home at Christmas time. I got some this pod track stuff so I could use this weekend. I'm like, we should do a podcast and call it "Hey Girl," because
Hey
every
girl,
time
hey.
every time I call my daughter, I'm like, "Hey Girl," all the text messages, "Hey Girl, hey Girl."
That's what I said to all my buddies.
What was that?
That's what I tell all my buddies. Hey, girl, hey.
Hey Girl, hey.
I was thinking of Shanae.
Shanae.
Hey,
I did that earlier. Somebody goes,
people
"Your
born
wife
after
don't do
2000
that."
know that.
Did it in the truck.
Oh my God! All right, so you get this. So really, this is what I thought was really cool. So you went from just being, went from having a fire, having your own fire instructor. You have people that work for you now, right? You got
Yep.
your own crew of instructors,
Absolutely.
and then you went out and did the I don't know if I can say the company's name, but you started doing the realtors class,
Yes.
right,
yes,
for
yeah.
one of the big companies, and then legit, like you came out with this perfume a few months ago.
Well, it's just a brand, right? So everything that I wear is steel and stilettos. So I'm trying to just create a brand. I'm a walking billboard. I have it on my jeans. I have it on my.
Matt's trying to look, but not look like he's,
Right.
Let me tell you, it's like looking into the sun.
Right.
You can't look directly into the sun for too long.
Happy.
Anyway,
Well, anyway, I'm just trying to create a brand. I want people to recognize the steel and stilettos logo, and wherever they go, hey, I know that. I've seen that.
You know, and it's funny you say that. Wow, I'm slurring my words.
have
made you a
another
good drink,
drink,
didn't
you'll be
so
fine.
good. So, when we think of that, the
Amy, so Dave's trying to say that you need to point this towards
We're going to step up our production value next year
There
at
we
SHOT
go.
Show. Sponsors, we're looking for you.
So
Anyway.
they can buy these. I was looking into this. They buy these with 3 microphones, I believe, as well.
I think we only need 4.
Oh.
Anyway, the brand identity and stuff. I mean, you look at my hair. My
Yeah,
hair's
dude, you look like you're from a '90s ska band.
yeah, like I got zapped by an electrical outlet or something. I mean, that's it's a gimmick in some sense what we do just to bring viewers and to remember. I mean, at one point prior to me deciding to make my hair stand up, and then like I got electrocuted. It's the scar on my neck. Well, yeah, he's got the scar on his neck. But they never talk about it. It's like Craig Douglas and the scar on his face. You don't talk about it, but oh yeah, he's the guy with the scar on his face. You don't say that to his face because he'll kick your ass.
Yes, he will beat your ass.
But that's kind of in the industry. You talk about it, and it's like the scar on my neck, the hair. The trumpet guy.
Yeah.
The
The
trumpet
smell. What was
guy.
that?
The trumpet guy.
The smell is new.
It's good smell. Who was that?
Luke's mouth.
Luke's mouth.
Yeah.
Ha, ha, ha,
That's
ha,
his
ha, ha,
brand?
ha.
Oh, that I thought
The
you had
gas.
some other kind of mouth for Luke's.
Charlie. Sophia said thanks for the shout out.
Hey girl, hey girl. I love my daughter, man. I really do. She's, I mean, this is, having kids is one of those things you're like, I never want to fucking have kids. But then when you have kids, you're like, dude, this is life changing and you don't know what you do without them.
Absolutely.
So,
You know, my kid,
hey girl.
you know, I have 2 kids. I have a 33-year-old daughter and a
What?
24-year-old son.
I had no idea you had kids when you were 8.
Well,
Is this legal where
Yeah.
you're from?
yeah, well, but it's so awesome because right now, I mean, I started early, obviously, and it's so awesome right now because now I can really just truly enjoy life and enjoy them and still young.
And if, and you
Well,
could be
somewhat
friend-
young.
You can be friends. How, 33. What's the age of?
24?
24. And how old are you?
21 and 23.
So, 31.
This guy started when he was, I thought he was from Alabama. He started when he was 12.
Started at 15. 31, 27, 24, 8, and then 10 grandkids.
Oh,
10
wow.
grandkids.
I forgot about that.
They all start early in his family. That's what it is.
That's nice.
Mallory.
The Mallory.
This is why he calls his company Mallory Unlimited. He's got 14 fucking kids, 27 grandkids, got 3 great grandkids,
Not yet. No great grandkids yet.
and 2 great 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 grandkids.
That's awesome. Well, anyway, my point was is that now I
Yes.
get to just enjoy freaking life, right?
Oh man,
I'm enjoying it so much and able to, do whatever it is I want to do. I do a lot of work with my business. Obviously, I'm training almost every single weekend, whether it's a certified instructor class or I'm teaching a, concealed carry and home defense fundamentals class, my realtor training class. I just recently came up with a program called the Wear and Prepared, and I felt like there was a need for the people that aren't ready for firearms, or just not just like,
Yeah.
I'm right there, but I'm not just quite ready yet. So I came up with a new program.
Daniel Easterday is a guy that I interviewed in Chicago a couple years ago. So I was talking about how anytime I go someplace, I got to interview somebody. My mother died in January of 2020, and I was going out for the funeral, and I called up Rhonda Izell. I'm like, hey girl,
Oh yeah, I love Rhonda.
I'm coming home. I'm coming back to Illinois for a funeral. Who can I interview on Thursday morning? So
Right.
she puts me in touch with Daniel Easterday. Daniel Easterday was telling me he's got a class that's called "So You Think You Can Carry."
Oh, that's great.
I love that title.
Yes,
That's
that is
great,
good.
right?
That's good.
So you think you can carry?
Right.
Okay. Here's
Right.
what you need to think about, right?
Right.
Because people take the licensing course
Yep.
and they think, okay, and I hate saying in Massachusetts, you take a 4-hour non-live firing class and you can get your license to carry with unrestricted, no restrictions. Thanks to Bruin.
What accent's that? Governor?
Which one?
I don't know.
You're taking your 4-hour firearm safety course, kid, and you get your license to carry, and then you start packing some heat for it. You know what I'm saying? You get your Dunkies, you get your Glock, you start packing a 9mm.
Right.
And so people don't realize. I get that people don't realize what they don't know. So you're like, hey, you know what? I've done this before. I've put on reading lists. You know what you want to read? You want to read In the Gravest Extreme by Masada Ayub, right? Because it's the self-defense Bible since 1977. So you have to have this continuing education because the licensing course is really, it's the minimum that you need to know in order to get your course. So you talk to your anti-gun your anti-gun wacko buddies, and they're like, oh my god, so you want to carry your gun so you can shoot somebody in a I know I'm doing my daughter ex-wife voice, which is the only voice I have. I know the only voice I have as I talk about doing Trump. But people will say, hey, listen, you carry a gun. What are you going to shoot someone in a road rage incident? I'm like, dude, I've been 54 years old. I've never been in a fight on the side of the road. Like, why the hell am I going to start now?
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
So so you don't want to. You don't want to do that. So it's just the beginning level of that you need to do. You need some continuing education.
Yeah, absolutely. And, so that's why I developed that program. I felt like there was something missing. I felt like there was, let's hit the market that isn't quite ready for firearms yet. Let's go with a non-lethal or just talking about different options. I mean, I just recently talked to somebody that kind of opened up my eyes to even another idea, and that's just massage therapists. And I know this sounds kind of wacky, but they're in, we could hit this whole different market of spas where they're dealing with men and the crazy stuff that happens in the spas or what their requests are. But even just things like that, or
Oh my.
or the business owner, like how are we going to protect these employees and how to respond in different situations. So
Yeah.
I'm really trying to hit every single market in any way that I can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's
yeah,
awesome.
thank you.
So Matt's been to some spas before.
You know, it's funny you say that. Yeah. David, my cameraman, saying, grab the mic.
This sounds like a story he needs to be on the mic for.
So when we went out to Washington 2 Augusts ago, the wife and I got a gift certificate from our oldest daughter, or our middle daughter, Bree.
She's
And-
46, by the way.
No, she's 24. Anyway, and Bree is, you know, so we go to this massage therapist place, and we pull up, and the door's locked, so we knock on the door. Nobody answers, so I call the number. And, you know, hey, you know, can I get a massage? And sure. So she opens the door, and I said, you know, my wife's right here. And, you know, she goes, oh, no, just you. I'm trying those accents like you're doing. I'm not very well, but
You like a massage?
there you go. That's better. Actually, you do better than that. And-
Just you, sir. You like a happy ending?
Yeah, she goes, no time for two. So,
No time for two. We have a poo-poo for one.
we're like, yeah, no thanks. So we leave. We didn't get a massage, and we really wanted to get a massage. And we were like, a couple's massage is what we were hoping
True
for.
legit massage.
That's it. And we don't know if it was that, or if she just was short-staffed, or you know, or what. We don't know, but we didn't want to find out, so we left.
She didn't know if you were short-staffed. That's
Right.
what it was.
So we could have been like, well, can you do one of us and then do the next one second? But you know, we didn't even want.
Look, you
to
got
do
two
that.
tables, you got two hands. Let's go.
Right. Yeah. The door was locked, and it was just shady, and it was Washington State. So, you know, that's shady state.
Right.
As it is. But anyway, that's my massage.
Dude, so
story. I'm
Washington
sticking
State.
to it.
So this is fun. This is what I don't know if Lucas is ever coming back, right?
I think he's
He's gone. So I did some shows in Washington State. I went out and filmed a show with Alan Gottlieb, with his wife, with Dave Workman, with Matt Deal from Aero Precision, and with a gal from the Pink Pistols out there whose name I'm not coming up with right now. But I was Derek LeBlanc from Kid Safe Foundation.
Yes,
He drove up 5 or 6 hours to stay with me and make sure, you know, whatever, to hang out. So we ended up driving around, right, in between interviews and stuff. We went to the Chaz and the Chop area of Seattle, and it was
Chaz is the place that they sanction off.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
This was in 2021, right? The Chaz was the oh my God, the autonomous zone,
Yeah.
right? And so there were the whole. I never really believed in the like all of this, you know, these tent cities and stuff. You know what the hell you're talking about. You go in there. These people go to private property. They go to public property. They put up a tent. They put up a sign that says, "No trespassing." I'm like, let me see if I get this straight. You're squatting on public property, and you put up a sign that says "No trespassing." Like, this is crazy, man.
Wow.
This is nuts.
America we're in now.
Yeah, America. Well, back then it was the mostly peaceful riots, only a little fiery.
Wow.
Right.
What a bummer.
Totally. So how is biz in Michigan? How far are you out of Detroit?
I live probably about like 20 minutes from Detroit. I
Okay.
live right by the Detroit Metro Airport in a city called Belleville, and I teach out there. I've got like 6 different locations that I teach out of, and I'm always willing to travel and do, you know, in home, whatever. I'll show up and show out. But yeah, business has been really good. In fact, I was when I was at the USCCA headquarters. Mike Bauer, I'm sure you guys are very familiar with Mike Bauer. They in his office has the most amazing, huge TV in this room, and you can actually just kind of interact on the TV and zoom in and zoom out, and it shows all of the instructors throughout the U.S. Right? And he pulled up Michigan, and he pulled up the Detroit area, and usually you'll see like little orange dots on the map. There was one huge orange dot, which meant that it's, and he told me, it's the most instructors in an area in the whole U.S. is in my area.
Really?
So that makes it pretty difficult, you know, to
Yeah.
you know, keep the business going and keeping the students. But the one good thing is that, you know, the word of mouth travels, and if you do a good job, it's gonna, you know, it's gonna keep the business going. And so that's been working out pretty well for me. And also I am female, so that also helps for me.
Are you
as well.
sure? You're 100%.
Well, I'm working. Yeah,
It's
We-
2024. You can be whatever you want to be, Amy.
no, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, well, how about that? How's everything on the home
Welcome
front?
back.
Welcome back. So
Yeah, thank you.
so since you were gone, my daughter actually chimed in. I told my over Christmas vacay, I was
no.
playing with my Zoom PodTrack 4, and I
Right.
told my daughter I was gonna. She and I were gonna do the Hey Girl podcast, and
Absolutely.
so she actually chimed in, and she's like, "Hey Dad, thanks for the shout out,
Aw.
girl, where's the podcast? Like, let's go, Come on.
Right. Let's
Come
make
on,
this
girl."
happen. What are we waiting for? No, everything's good in my world. My daughter, I didn't realize which this makes me feel rough. Thank you for covering my belly. My daughter, we registered her for kindergarten today. And so that's terrifying. It's more terrifying for the rest of the kindergarten that she has to spend her time with because she's a terrorist.
Nice.
And so that's going to be fun. But no, it's good. I just, you know, one thing I've always preached with my business is we talked earlier about time management for the crew. Sorry that y'all are having to be here so long. I'm sorry that y'all's boss is a
Time
dick.
management. I'll be back in a
yeah.
couple of minutes. 20 minutes later.
Yeah, no, he's in the bathroom, so I can talk bad about him. But no, I also believe in family first. So I firmly believe that the jobs that we do are not who we are, right?
Oh,
it's,
sure.
It's what we love to do, but it's not who we are. Our family, who we are, you know, who we are every day with our family is who we are. And so I'm big with all of my family, with all of my staff at our production company. That it doesn't matter what's happening in our world, your family has to come first. End of story. I don't care what it is, because at the end of the day, client's not going to eat us, right? I might lose a client. That's fine. We'll find another client. There's more.
Yeah.
There's plenty of clients out in the sea. But what I am going to do is make sure that all of my people are there with their family. They're there. They don't miss those opportunities. They don't miss those games. They don't miss all that kind of stuff. And so, and really, I put that in policy for myself because I am a workaholic. I love what we do. I can come in here. I know the video guys can probably attest to it while they're not happy right now, probably. Sorry. But, like, if we were to let them loose in a room full of gear, they would play all night with the gear. It's what we love. It's our passion. And so I really, when I started putting it into place for my staff, it was something that kind of forced me to step into that as well and be like, you know what? It's okay for me to step out of something and take a phone call. If somebody in my family needs it, it's okay. I used to work a lot in cryptocurrency, and we did a live show for that. That was a big live show, and it was fun because that one was a lot cleaner. It didn't have all you assholes on it, so it was like, wait, people. I meant the guy in the bathroom, not y'all. Y'all are my favorite. But no, it was obviously a difference. A little bit more of a family type show, and my daughter at the time, who was 3, would.
My daughter at the time.
Well,
what was she? What has she been since then?
No, my daughter, comma, at the time was 3. Commas are important.
So this is what I've learned from her. At the time, my daughter at the time, comma.
I'm not good with commas, but I love that I'm fat enough I can just set this mic right here on my belly. This is good. But she would come on the live stream with me, and everybody. I feel like that's why people came to my show, was to see her, and she is a firecracker. At 3, she was a firecracker, and so all that to say, like, I'm big about, like, I want to make sure families are taken care of first with me, my staff, everybody else. And if that means we miss something, that means we miss an event, that means that we have to find somebody else for them, I'm 100% for it. So I would apologize for stepping out, but I don't really feel bad. Plus,
don't
it
feel
sounds
bad
like
at
y'all got it. Like, I was hiding in the shower in the bathroom so you wouldn't hear me, and I could still hear y'all laughing. So I feel like the show was probably better without me.
I don't know if it was better without you, but it was still good.
Okay.
This is my thing. I got this.
Oh, you have
Oh,
one.
I have
Give me
one.
the fuzzy mic.
I have a fuzzy one. Don't tell Amy, she likes fuzzy ones.
She does.
So my deal was this. I got this from from a financial guy. He talks about motivational people and blah blah blah.
Ugh.
Somebody said you don't want to raise your kids to be good kids. You want to raise your kids to be good adults.
Ooh.
Yes, and that was like, I'm
Love
like,
that.
you know what? I don't. What I want to be. I don't know if the girl's still listening. And I call my kids the boy and the girl.
Okay. The
Right.
boy and the girl.
The
Love
boy-
that.
the boy and the girl.
Nothing else. Just the boy and the girl.
This is exactly where it came from. A friend of mine sent me a text message years ago. She's like, "So the boy child did this," and I'm like, henceforth the
The boy.
kids are the boy and the
right.
girl.
Right.
So I just want to be a positive role model for my kids. That's all I want to do. Like
Right,
all
right.
of the hard work, all of the all of the commitment and the shit, and staying up until 1 o'clock in the morning editing shows,
Right.
and working your biz email
Right,
to
right.
send out in 6 hours. All of that, you just want to be a positive role model for your kids.
You absolutely
That's
do.
all you want to do.
One of my favorite things, I have an 11-year-old boy, and one of my favorite things is, and I'm excited to do this with my daughter when she gets to the age to where I can trust her to come on set and not tear it apart or
Boys-
light it on fire.
Boy Scouts.
Boys, no, no, not Boy Scouts. I like to. He works with me. I take him on shoots with me, and I have we have a full. So, like I said, I come from a production background, so we have a full production trailer, a full production company. We go and film big stuff, and I will take him with me to large jobs with large clients, and the clients will look at me like, "Why do you have an 11-year-old with you?" I was like, because I have a chance right now to be a role model to him for something. He may not choose to do this one day, and I'm so great with that. But right now, he loves the shit out of this. Why would I
yeah.
take that from him?
Absolutely.
I don't care if you're uncomfortable with an 11-year-old. Like, if you're uncomfortable with an 11-year-old, you need to check your own life for a second, because all he wants to do is to be here and to learn from people. And honestly, he can work my production trailer. We covered we did like a highlight film for a sports team, and I was walking inside like, "Hey, Dad, what do you need?" And I started naming off gear that most people would look at me and be like, "What are you talking about?" And he went to the trailer and pulled everything out. Had my
Oh my
big
God,
camera, my
that's great.
FX6 built for me with the lenses that I needed. Like, solid kid, and loves it. And it doesn't matter what it is, whatever I do. And I know that window of opportunity is short.
I heard this recently. It's we've all heard of the 80-20 rule,
Right.
And I've heard that from birth until 18 is 80% of the time you're going to spend with your kids.
Uh-huh.
From 18 in a day, whatever.
Well,
It's going to be 20% of the time.
Right.
Right. So that time from when your kids are in your house that's super important.
Well, and I see it all the time on, when people are sharing Facebook stuff and memes and all that. But it's like you really only have you're likely only gonna have like 13 to 15 really good like spring breaks or Christmases or anything like that.
Oh my God.
And that hurt my feelings a little bit, because it's like I love my kids. They're like I said, they will burn down your house in a second. They're mouthy as shit. My daughter, God love her, she cusses like her father, and that's a problem. I didn't realize until like she was 4, so this would have been last year. Or no, it was at the end of 3. It was that snow you were talking about in February 2021, right?
21.
So I had this. Apparently, during that is when I really transitioned to my old man phase, and I would go stand at my front window and cuss at the birds that would shit on my rocking chair. I didn't realize I was doing this, but it was a lifestyle that I apparently picked up and really lived fully.
That's awesome.
And so, but again, didn't realize I'd done it until her and my wife and my wife's grandmother were leaving the house one morning for church. And she goes out, my beautiful 4-year-old little girl walks out on the front porch and looks over at the rocking chair and looks back at Mom and Granny and goes, "Fucking birds, right?" It's like, oh God, okay, so we crossed a line that we don't need to cross.
All of a sudden, it's
Yeah.
like some weird Cat Stevens song. My daughter was just like me.
Right, and it's so we've had to fight that a little bit, but all that said, like, I know that time is limited, and why in the world would I want to take something that I'm so passionate about and not include them in that? Like, I want to be inclusive to anybody that wants to be a part of it. I love teaching anyways. That's one of the reasons, like, tomorrow I get to teach at Shot University, and I'm excited. We have a 250 registrant class that we're doing in the Murano Ballroom. It's going to be so much fun. But at the end of the day, like, man, if I love it so much, why not include my kids? And I think that is, we talk about what's wrong with the world these days.
Yeah.
You look back, and I think that's a big thing, is parents now are gone so much. They're working so much. They're so much worried about the keeping up with the Joneses. They're worried so much. And life is harder now. I get that. You have to work more. You don't make as much. Your money doesn't go as far. But you've lost this connection between parents and kids. And I think that's the reason that kids are turning into shitheads.
So when my kids were young, I called it Nerf gun safety. Nerf gun safety was if my son had his buddies over and they were having a Nerf gun fight, shoot the crap out of each other. Don't shoot your sister because she's not in the Nerf gun
That's
fight.
exactly right.
That's
our rule in our house. You don't if you are not in the Nerf gun fight, you do not
you're
get
out.
shot.
You're
That's
off
right.
limits. Absolutely.
Unless I'm shooting, and then I get to shoot anybody I want to if they're being an asshole.
So my deal was this. Eventually, I got to the point where I'm like, don't shoot your sister. Shoot your mom. Shoot your mom. It'll be fine. Don't worry
That's
about it.
fine. And that and like we said, he's single and open for no
Undateable-
correlation there.
Undateable, I think is how we call it. Undateable.
Oh,
my God.
whatever.
Right.
But no, I think as a whole, our country, we look at a lot of bad things, and it's just I think a lot of bad things can be brought back to our how we're raising our kids, because that is not to sound like that guy, but it is our future, right?
It really is.
And
So-
we're looking at kids now. We're seeing what has happened to kids in the first generation that got treated like absolute shit.
Yeah.
Okay, you gotta go. You want to come back in? You want to come back in here? No,
I
you
know.
don't have to leave.
Oh,
There's another party we're supposed to be at in 15 minutes, right?
15 minutes.
Is it Rob's party?
I have USCCA and Jones.com.
Oh,
Y'all all have to go then. Do you want to come say goodbye?
I would love to come say goodbye.
Okay, all right, Amy, I'm gonna take your spot.
Still tipsy.
He's gonna take his
You
spot
should say
back for a second. Is that
goodbye.
cool?
I should say goodbye.
Okay, let's do it.
And
Just
everybody,
don't
just
trip.
real quick, Steel and Stilettos training.com.
I got you.
Absolutely, thank you.
Boom.
Thank you, Amy, as always. Amy's one of my favorites. We've been good friends for a minute. So
Amy, say it.
I don't.
Oh,
know if we're gonna get mad.
Amy, say it.
Oh my God! All right, so
Yes.
I don't really, I thought it was very unprofessional to bring my phone up on the studio with me here.
No,
But
we
I
don't-
get a
we don't
text
do
message from my
professional.
daughter, and she says, "We need more alcohol down here."
Wait, where's my drink?
That's what your daughter said.
This is what my daughter said.
Is she
So-
here at SHOT Show?
No.
Okay,
She's
she's
in
at home.
Nashville.
She's back at home.
She's in Nashville on 8 inches of snow and
Right,
and
right.
online classes and all this bullshit.
Yeah.
Like $50,000 a semester online classes.
You
and
got
bullshit.
it. You got it.
So
You're
Matt,
gonna make it.
left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot.
I don't drink often because I'm usually armed all the time.
Right. So it's fun when you get to. You're a lightweight, is what I heard you say.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yes.
Where's the mic? I think Amy.
I've got it on my chest.
Oh, you do? Look at that.
How about that?
Dead cats. I was saying earlier, I like to play with cats, but not dead cats.
So back to kids and teaching the kids. So what I used to, I don't know if the girls still, hey girl. So what I used to do was this: when I was at, my kids were at that age where they were old enough to take care of themselves, but not old enough to be home alone.
Right.
And not the Macaulay Culkin age where you're hanging out with Michael Jackson and shit. But they were old enough to, what I would do is this: I would try not to book classes when I had my kids.
Right.
But if I had to book classes, I would drag my kids along.
Right.
And what I would do, I would teach Utah classes at whatever, a couple of different places. And I would say, all right, here's the deal. I tell the girl, I'm like, here's the deal, girl. You are going to have to, you're going to collect all the information. You're going to make out the certificates. And I told my son, I'm like, you're going to have to fingerprint people.
Wow.
Yeah, and at first I'd take the kids to the range. So I did Nerf gun safety, and then I did this whole thing with the kids. Talk about Kids Safe Foundation and teaching kids how to be safe with firearms.
Right.
Here's the deal: if we go to the range, everything goes fine. Nobody gets upset. Nobody has a fit. We'd stop at McDonald's and get a $1 ice cream cone.
Love that.
The $1 ice cream cone is now $2.49 or something
We're
crazy.
not paying for my kids to shoot anymore because of that.
Exactly right.
Highway robbery.
So when the kids would do classes with me, I'd take them out to dinner afterwards, right? We'd go out to eat, and it was a whole thing and a whole deal. But it was trying to instill that whole, you know what? You want stuff, you got to work for it. Here's what we're going to do. On Friday night, we got a class on Saturday. You know what we're doing Friday night? We're going to have a family night, and you're going to staple packets, and you're going to stuff them in the envelope, so that we have all this stuff together. You're gonna work, you're gonna do this sort of shit because this is what Dad does to make money, and this is what you're gonna have to do so Dad can make money, and your benefit is we're gonna go out to eat afterwards.
That's right.
That's awesome.
One of my with Corbin, my 11-year-old, one of the big things that I recently have started doing that I feel like is really paying off. Now he's a great kid. Good job, Amy. He's a great kid, and I want to say that first and foremost. He comes from my ex-wife, so it's amazing that he's as good as he is. And
So I call my ex-wife my first ex-wife
yeah, okay.
because it always makes people say, "Oh my God, how many ex-wives does she have?"
right. I like that.
And then I like to tell this: I only have one ex-wife, but I've been with other wives.
Right. Okay.
Honey,
We-
stay away from Charlie.
We learned the truth
Biblically.
tonight. Yeah, biblically, he said.
Some more of that.
So,
I did get a text message from my daughter. She's like, "Hey."
yeah, your daughter just
She's
closed
now
the
she's
stream.
now she's
no longer
not watching the show.
Yeah, no, she just left. I'm sorry. What's your daughter's name?
The girl.
The girl. That's right. I'm sorry, the girl. I apologize for your father, and I got him liquored up, but I don't
Daddy's
regret
been-
anything.
Daddy's been drinking.
Daddy's.
So I have this. What I have. I have a number of I have a number of Christmas albums or Christmas CDs that I pull out, and one of them is called Country Christmas,
Yeah.
and one of the songs is "Daddy's drinking up our Christmas."
And that's right now. Okay, I'm gonna bring us back around before we get more into the married.
So Shot Show.
Yeah, Shot Show. But one of the things that I've done with my kid recently that I feel like has worked really well is I've started putting him. Obviously we all have buddies that have other businesses, right?
Yeah.
I've started putting him with I call buddies and be like, look, especially in contractor world. We had one of my good friends, Nathan. He's actually one of my captains at the fire hall. And we were doing an extension on the fire hall. I had him a couple of days, and he was there working one day. And I was like, "Hey, I don't want you to babysit, but like, my 11-year-old's a worker. He grew up working. He knows what that's like." I was like, "Can I drop him off and let him work for you for the day? You don't have to pay him anything." And I felt like, now, granted, Nathan was kind of a failure in the attempt because all Nathan did was took him like a grandkid. They went and got milkshakes, which is bullshit. But that said, those kind of things I felt like have worked really well. Because he comes to work with me all the time. He idolizes everything I do. It doesn't matter what I do. When I was leaving,
Oh,
he
man,
idolized
that's
being a
great.
Leo firefighter. He idolizes that. You know, and I love that. And he's at that great age because he's going to hate me in the next 4 years.
Oh,
I'm aware of that.
absolutely.
But I think right now during this time where he is so impressionable, putting him with other people and learning that it's not just me that goes and works hard every day. Like this is everybody. This is the constant.
Yeah.
You don't get to get out of this. You don't get to go be a gamer. And not that he won't be. And I hope he is. I hope he makes incredible money off of stupid shit. That's the American dream these
Dumb
days.
money.
Right. Dumb money is it. I hope he invests in cryptocurrency and he's just done. He's got the mic. Sorry, I'll just talk loud. My stream's gone to
Tilted
shit
his way.
anyways because y'all stole all the internet. I'm not sure what happened. We have plenty of internet, but my stream's basically gone to hell, and I'm good with it. No, but y'all's is good. I watched y'all's. So
All
yeah,
y'all.
Yeah, so I love that. But
So you're talking to your daughter and you're watching the live stream.
Yeah.
That's encouraging, people. That is parenting 101 right there. I'm supposed to be talking to my daughter, but I'm going to watch what's going on in the other room.
So can we talk for let's get here.
Real.
Can we
get,
talk?
Get real for a second. I want to jump into not a serious conversation, but maybe kind of serious. And I know y'all got to go in a second, so I don't want to make it long. But I want to talk about you're both instructors. I want to talk about kids and firearms. That's I don't want to call it a taboo subject, but it's a subject that a lot of parents don't know what to do with. The biggest questions I get all the time when I start talking about kids, because I'll be honest, my 11-year-old Corbin, much love him, I don't have him shooting much yet. He's shot some, but every parent has to make the right decision as to when you're ready to put that firearm in your kid, and every kid is different. So as an instructor, how do you work with parents? When you start to look at young kids, what's your advice to parents as they start to look at, I want my kid to be in this industry. I want them to start as young as they can.
Right, but you want them to be safe. Absolutely,
That's right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So what I did like I said, what I called Nerf gun safety. Nerf gun safety was this: when my son's friends came over to the house, you can't shoot your sister, you can't shoot her because she's off limits.
Right.
But I've been doing the gun grant. Going back to the gun grant videos, I've been doing a gun grant video as a Christmas. I call it the Christmas family gun grant video, and every Christmas. I've picked we pick a Christmas song that we're gonna do. I figure out who, we're gonna turn into a gun gram. My daughter shoots a Walther P22.
Okay.
I shoot the Glock 19. My son shoots the AR-15. They're not sponsors of the show, but they should be. And so my kids have a good sense of time, which I appreciate, which is awesome. And but what I did was like every single time, even at 20, and I tell this to the people in class all the time. Even at 21 and 23, I go through the gun safety rules. What's a gun safety rule? Finger off the trigger. Cool. Yeah. What else? Check to see if it's unloaded. Awesome. How do you check it? You check here, you check here. Awesome. What's the safe direction? You're not going to shoot over the berm, right? We go through this stuff every single time. You have to instill this into your kids at a young age. And when my kids were young is don't point it at a person. Unless they're in the Nerf gun fight, right? But don't point it at a person. Done. And then it was eventually, You know, the kids were 5 or 6 years old, and they're like, "Don't point in a safe direction. Keep your finger off the trigger." Sorry, the NRA rules. Always keep your finger off the trigger. Always keep it pointing in a safe direction. Always keep it unloaded until you're ready to shoot. And that's what it was. And you do this every single time. And it's interesting to me. I did a Utah class one time. I did a home firearm safety class and a Utah class at the same time, so people can get their Mass license to carry and their Utah permit. And legit, these are adults, and they're like, how fast can we get this over with? Can we? It's a 5-hour. It's a minimum of 5-hour class. Can we do it in 3 hours? I'm like, no.
You get that in military or law enforcement a lot.
Right, and then you know, then I take the class with Bashar Ayub, and he's got a 2-hour firearms, 2 hours of safety briefing. So you know, here's the deal. So you're like, dude, I get that I'm not Masada Ayub. That's fine. That's cool. We have to go through this every single fucking time.
Requirement.
Every single time.
Yeah.
So, and to your question with that, I have lots of parents that'll reach out to me and say, I like my kid to know about gun safety. So I think that's like do we want to do gun safety? Do we want to talk about gun safety and drill it? And like Charlie was saying, the NRA safety rules, always keep the gun pointing safe direction, always keep the finger up the trigger, always keep the gun unloaded. You know, the Colonel Jeff Cooper rules, the 4 safety rules with Colonel Cooper. I always like to emphasize in the sense, one, don't point the gun at anything you're not willing to destroy. I get that. But don't point the gun at something you're not willing to shoot. If you're doing UTM, if you're doing, you know, CERT, if you're practicing and you're pointing it at somebody intending to shoot them, that's one thing. And that's like the Force on Force classes that I teach around the country, getting people to understand. I don't know what that says.
CT says, huh? Oh, CT. Oh my God, CT. CT is one of the guys that likes to follow. He used to follow the Polite Society podcast and the Daily Bullet, and he's one of the guys that's been around for forever. And I can't remember what his name is. I apologize, but I'll have another drink and it'll be fine.
That's always the answer.
Hey, CT.
So you know what we need to do? Next time we do this, we need to have a big screen up there that has all the comments.
If somebody had handwriting that we could read, that would be nice too.
David, thank you.
CT is shook that you use the F word.
He's what? He's shunned?
Shook.
Shook? Oh, right. It's just
It's over my head.
Charlie After Hours.
I like it. There's the
Another
new
YouTube
show.
video.
We're scrubbing True Southern
Yeah.
TV. This is
I
not
got the
Charlie
domain
After
name.
Hours. Yep.
I'll have the domain name secured tonight.
Get it right now.
So
Shit. Jesus Christ, I gotta get on GoDaddy real quick.
I'll get it before and sell it to them. Anyway, so you know, when we were kids, we played Cops and Robbers, right? And you probably heard me say this, Charlie, with the pepper spray and other classes that we've done together.
One of the things that I love about you, you talk about the 4 apocalypse,
Yeah.
right? Or the 4
Four
horsemen.
Horses of Your Apocalypse, yeah.
I tell people all the time, I said, listen, here's the deal. When I teach a firearm safety course, you know, the minimum of everything you need to know how to, whatever, get a gun license. But here's the deal. I tell people, here's my funny line. I might wear tights, but I'm not a superhero, so, right? So I have to protect me and the boy and the girl, and that's it. That is all. Because here's the deal: if I get if I'm involved in a shooter, if I'm involved in a third-party shooting, I am not. I'm going to get arrested. I'm going to go to jail. I'm going to have to buy an attorney a new house.
It gets ugly quick.
Yes.
Yeah,
Expensive.
absolutely.
People
Absolutely.
don't realize that. People think they're just going to buy a gun and then they protect themselves and they're going to go home and everything's going to be okay.
They're going to buy a gun and 10 rounds of ammunition.
Right.
With no practice.
No, not at all.
So, and with that, like the you know, the trifecta of tools that we talk about in the classes that I teach, you know, you've got lethal, less lethal, and medical. And a lot of people don't even consider the less lethal or medical. They just go straight with gun. And the equivalent of that is walking around with a hammer expecting to run into nails.
Right.
What happens when you run
Right.
into a screw?
Right.
You're screwed.
Right.
You got the wrong tool for the job.
That's right.
So you need less lethal tools. You need medical. I mean, if you look at any of the wars back in the day, the wars that we've had, people died because of either infection or bleeding out.
One thing that civilians I think don't get as much, and you get this in Leo world. You go out and we have a police involved shooting. The first thing the press is going to ask is, was there care rendered to the patient? If you don't know how to render care to your patient, you're putting yourself in a hole before you even got it started. Like a simple, CPR is great. Go get CPR. Everybody should have CPR. That's a whole. We can do a whole an entire show just based off the medical side of this. But realistically, like TCCC is such a great class. Learn how to use a tourniquet. Stop the bleed is great. I carry it. You'll see, and I'm a big advocate. I love it. I've got 6 of them probably within this room. And I'm a big fan of ETQ. It's something I've swapped to off of Cat. I love what Snake Staff Systems is doing. That's a plug that didn't have to happen, but I wanted it to. But a tourniquet goes everywhere with me because I know, God forbid, if I have to get in a situation as a civilian where I've got to pull my self-defense pistol and take a shot, I need to do everything I can to start to render care. But not only that, what happens, God forbid, I train. We all make mistakes. What happens if I shoot past my target and hit somebody else?
This is why, like I like to say, I might wear tights, but I'm not a superhero. I owe it to. I'm gonna look at which camera's on right.
Any of them, yeah. Let's go anywhere.
You had me at tights, by the way.
Yeah, look at the iPad. That's the one that's streaming the best right now. It stole all the internet.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh God.
No. I might wear tights, but I'm not a superhero. I owe it to the boy, and I owe it to the girl. I don't owe it to anybody else. And I always tell people when I teach classes, somebody might attack you in the parking lot as we leave class today. You might have sold crack to that guy's kid's sister, and you might need your ass beat, and I might have to get a couple of fucking punches in as well. But it's not my responsibility. So I will call the police. I will be a good witness. I will turn my camera sideways, and I will get some good video. But I don't owe it to you because I'm going to get sued. I'm going to go to jail. I'm going to, my name ends up in the paper. They think I'm a vigilante, and for the people of a certain age, they think I'm, Charles Bronson. Right? They think it's fucking
fogey.
death. I'm the Punisher, right? I'm Batman.
Yeah.
I'm Batman. So I don't owe it to anybody except my kids for that. I don't know it. And you know what it came down to is you talked about having an article about
Pyramid of priorities.
no, you talked to George
George Zimmerman. Yeah.
George Zimmerman,
The
who
interview
is
I
no longer George Zimmerman, but George contacted me. I met him at the very first Gun Right Policy Conference I went to. I ended up. You ready for this shit? This is fun stuff, guys.
Get him drunk,
I ended up buying his attorney. Well, I didn't know it was his fiance, but I ended up buying her drinks because I'm flirting with her because I'm like, I need to have George
Oh
on.
my God, you're trying to sleep with George Zimmerman's fiance.
In all fairness, it's not his name anymore.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm like, how do I get Zimmerman on my show, right? And legit, I swear to God. So this was in September of 2016. In January of 2017, I have a class with one guy who's a black guy, and George Zimmerman his face pops up on my cell phone as George Zimmerman's like, no, he called me up and he's like, hey, listen, you know what? My fiance, who's my attorney, wants to, she's whatever, she's got to do some classes to pass the bar. I need a place to stay. Can I come hang out with you? And I'm like, I swear to God, I looked at my son's bedroom and I'm like, George Zimmerman wants to sleep on my son's bed? He's going to come here for a few days. I'm going to take him out to the place that I go to and hang out and have drinks. And the public opinion. Right, the what do you call it?
So the four horses of apocalypse. You got criminal, civil, mental, and jury of public opinion, which Masada Ayub calls the third court.
I don't want to deal with the people like my social friends being like, hey, there's some German, there's some German Puerto Rican guy at your house. Right.
Well, he's a white guy.
Right.
That's what the media says.
He's a Puerto Rican white. He's a Hispanic white man who's Cuban and German.
He shot a kid.
At your house, you're like, we recognize him. Who is he? His name's Jorge. Like,
So
what the fuck?
in my
right?
classes, I tell my students George Zimmerman changed his name because the jury of public opinion. When we get to that point, I say, yeah, he changed his name. He told me. I took him out, my wife and I took him out to dinner a couple of years ago, and I said, yeah, he changed his name to Pablo Escobar.
Oh, perfect.
And then everybody's like, no, really? I'm like, no. He changed his name, but not to Pablo Escobar.
Right. So you don't want to deal. You don't want to deal with that crap. You don't want to have to shoot someone and have people think, oh my God, you're the Punisher. You're Batman. You think you're fucking Reacher. You know what I mean?
And I struggled with that doing the interview with him back in 2018, October 2018. I thought, how am I going to set myself up in this industry? That was the first article I published that AMLAM actually published for me in July of 2019, and I was worried that interviewing for 3 hours. I wanted to be impartial. I wanted to make sure that I brought the story of what happened before, during, and after that altercation with Trayvon Martin. And I was worried, but then in another sense, I said, you know what? If I tell the truth, who gives a shit?
Right.
Who
Yeah.
cares?
How do you think that? Sorry, real quick.
Low budget,
Lo-
Las Vegas.
Right. When's the battery running out on these goddamn little
I don't, we
microphones?
don't know. We'll find out, I guess. Yeah.
One died already.
Yeah.
That one
It's
too.
fine.
He stopped
It's
holding the
okay.
camera up a long time ago.
To plug that.
Well,
Right.
What?
Dude, can't you plug in or something?
Bye, Amy. Thank you so
All right.
much. You're our favorite.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. So when we talk about the idea of the public opinion, right?
Yeah.
How do we think that the Kyle Rittenhouse, right? That was a very public. I mean, we got to see every bit of that, and what I really loved about the Kyle Rittenhouse. I want to phrase this right. What I love about the entire situation from a 30,000-foot view is we got to see exactly what it looked like from every perspective very publicly, right? First, we got to see it from the police point of view, then we got to see it from the public point of view, then we got to see it from the court point of view. And we got to walk all the way through this whole thing in a very public way. And I think a lot of the mainstream media expected it to go different than what it went, which is the only reason we got to see as much as we did. And I firmly believe that, because I think if mainstream media knew the way that it would come out, they would not have covered it the way that they covered it. So how does that a situation like that, how does that affect people now that are like, oh God, if I've got to protect myself, don't I? Now
Right.
he came out on, I don't want to say he came out on top. I know he's gone through some shit, but financially he came out on top. Yeah, here.
And civilly, he's getting sued now.
Right.
He's got a civil suit. So I asked George Zimmerman, because I thought that was a good litmus test, if you will. I sent a message to George, or texted George, and said, what do you think about the Kyle Rittenhouse? If you could talk to Kyle, how would that play out? And George said to me, he came back to me, he goes, he'd probably say the same thing I said to you in the interview. And the last question I asked George Zimmerman at the end is, if anything, what would you have done differently that night?
Right.
And George responded immediately with, I wouldn't have left the house. To me, that means he wouldn't have been in the fight.
That's right.
Because we always have this mindset, the black letter of the law, the law says I can do it. So much of my class, just because the law says you may doesn't mean you must. And if you do it, then you've got the four horses like we've talked about. You got jury of public opinion, you got the criminal, civil, mental. You've got all these different aspects. Thomas Yoxall from the mental aspect of it. George Zimmerman, he went through his he called it his bad boy phase. I call it PTSD. Right? There's so many different aspects. Masad Ayub talks about the mental aspect of it, where people are. I'm sorry,
the mental aspect of it.
killing me.
You have to deal with understanding that you've taken someone's life.
You're killing me, dude. You're killing me.
So,
Another YouTube channel starting up tonight. Charlie in his voiceovers or his.
CharlieVoiceovers.com is what it is.
Hey, somebody's gonna buy that. and try to-
CharlieVoiceovers.com is what it is. So we have all these voiceovers. He likes to do them.
Money
There's
strong.
These voiceovers. Everybody loves them. They appreciate. They are some of the best voiced overs that we have ever heard in our life. You know what? You need to check him out.
I'm enamored.
What were we talking about?
So honestly, though, what I was gonna say earlier, real quick,
yeah,
Charlie and Clint are the best co-hosts I have.
I can imagine.
It's so and I never wanted to do this myself. I mean, I'm
We
law.
never wanted you to do it either, by the way. I just wanted to.
They're like-
I'm like, Jesus Christ. Guy calls me up and says, "Hey, you want to do some shows with me?" No.
No,
God, I
not
sure
really.
don't, yeah.
Fucking this dry cop from New York. But yeah, so they're awesome. They're great.
Okay. So
Got
one
us on battery.
more.
CNT Design Arms wants to talk about the DA during the Kyle Rittenhouse.
Oh my
okay,
God!
yeah.
Right. So I have a picture. So in my home firearm safety class, I try to keep it fluid, and I have a picture. We call it the Bender finger,
Right.
where the prosecuting attorney Bender says that Kyle Rittenhouse is not smart. I don't know his voice, so I can't do it.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
But he says Kyle Rittenhouse is not smart enough, intelligent enough to handle a firearm. He puts I have a picture of him with his finger on the trigger, the bolt closed on an AR-15, and I'm assuming he's pointing it at the jury,
Jury.
right? So I'm like, okay, so this guy, the guy who says that Kyle Rittenhouse is not smart enough and educated enough to handle an AR-15,
Love that. Yeah.
He's not smart enough.
both closed, pointing at the jury, and finger on the trigger. This is the guy,
trigger. It was deep in the trigger.
right?
Not just the tip.
It was not
This is like you pouring
This
deep
was
finger in the
AVN
trigger.
kind of stuff. It was deep in there.
AVN, did you say AVN?
I can't say.
Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But you're exactly right. Now, one thing too that I want to bring up and talk to you guys about from the instructor level, because I love hearing this aspect of it. We've talked about it the past couple of nights. It's how I can tell a good instructor from a bad instructor. I don't have that problem with you guys, but there's a difference between just pulling a trigger in a self-defense situation and the mental side of pulling a trigger. And I think
Yeah.
people don't understand. People go out and buy a gun. You know, I worked with a gun store for a little bit doing marketing and worked front desk with them a lot. And I had ladies come in all the time. It's like, hey, I want to buy a revolver because I want to carry myself. Cool. Are you going to do any classes? No. Are you going to prepare for this at all? No. You don't understand what the mental
You have
toll
no
of taking
idea.
someone's life is like. And you have to choose. We talked about it last night. If I am in with, look, I am trained. I'm trained certifications as a trainer. Like I have a firearm a lot in my life. I've spent a lot of time putting rounds downrange. It still doesn't matter if you find me in a mall with an active shooter and I've got even one of my kids with me or my wife with me. My objective is not to stop what's happening. It's to save the people that are my family.
How do they say it? GTFO? I think is the phrase that they call it, right?
That's right.
Get the fudge out.
Out.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not your, like I
Not
said,
everything's your fight.
like I said,
Not my circus, not
It's-
my monkeys.
Right.
I might wear tights, but I'm not a superhero.
That's right.
I don't owe it to anyone else to save their life. I'm not the Punisher. I'm not Charles Bronson. I'm not Batman.
Right.
I'm Batman.
Kyle Rittenhouse. No,
I'm not
just
Kyle
kidding.
Rittenhouse. Right. No, you know. Here's the thing with Kyle Rittenhouse. So, I have a friend that I get together with every, I don't know, once or twice every month. We have dinner. We have drinks. We have
Talking about me?
Is it?
No.
It's him, isn't it?
no, because this bastard ghosts me sometimes.
No, never.
Okay.
Never.
Let me check my text messages.
Stop drinking.
So anyway, right. I stopped drinking. I did switch to water. I just want to,
I noticed
for
that.
the
I'm proud
record,
of you. Yeah, no, we're not.
right?
So,
Because
yeah.
when I get to that point, I'm like,
We're gonna drink Samuel L. Jackson. That's when this show ends.
right.
The batteries.
It was about 20%, right? 80-20 rule. When I started the show, 20% of full, 80% full, it's 20% full.
We digress.
Anyway, sorry. back to
So
Kyle
no,
Rittenhouse.
so
Yeah.
Kyle Rittenhouse. So a friend of mine said to me, a good friend of mine. Again, I have dinner with this friend of mine and her boyfriend, and he's like, "Oh, Kyle Rittenhouse is a murderer." I'm like, no. Let's take a look at the things. The people were throwing a Molotov cocktail at him.
Right.
People wanted to shoot him,
Right.
and there was a video of the guy of Grusin friggin' whatever his name is, right? The guy who got his arm shot off, who came out and said, "I wish I would have shot him first."
Right.
Right.
Okay, I wish I would have shot him first means it's completely self-defense. He fired shots. They hit their targets. They did not hit innocent people.
Right.
And so I don't see what the big deal is. I don't see what the issue is. He did everything that should have been completely cool.
Right.
Right.
And I think people think about the mindset of should he been there, and he didn't do anything illegal. That's the problem that we run into, where people, and that's where the whole four horses of apocalypse
Four
that I-
horses, yeah.
that I created. You know, just because the law says you may doesn't mean you must.
Right.
And if you do something, that doesn't mean you're going to be escape free.
Right.
And if you look at Kyle Rittenhouse, George Zimmerman, O.J. Simpson, you look at any of these cases, they all have had changes, major changes in their lives because of the decisions they made. Whether it's legal or not, it doesn't matter. If you don't want your life to change, and the pyramids that I talk about in my classes, you got the pyramid of priorities, like you alluded to. Your pyramids are you. You're at the top of the pyramid.
That's right.
Secondary
Yeah.
is your family, the ones you love. Third is
That's it.
friends that you care about. Fourth is strangers that you owe nothing to.
That's right.
And
You owe nothing to. This is what I tell people when I teach a home firearm safety class in Massachusetts. In order to,
That's how you really feel.
Yeah.
right.
New York.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right. when I teach these classes, I say, listen, if somebody attacks you at the end of the class, my deal is this: I am going to turn my camera sideways. I'll call the police. I'm going to turn the camera sideways. I'm going to get good video because I don't know if you sold crack to this guy's kid's sister. It's not my problem. It's not my responsibility. You probably should have taken the class 4 months ago.
Right.
It's not my deal. It's not my problem. It's not my issue.
Right.
But I will do what I can to stop this thing from happening.
Right.
But I'm
You know,
again, I'm not
And
Charles
you can look
Bronson.
at it from a perspective of God. So let's role play for a second. Let's say I go in the mall. Number one, you have to. Oh, oh, hello.
Right.
I feel like you've got something to say, and I'm not sure I should let you say it. I don't know what to do with this. No, but okay. So let's go into a mall, and let's say that that a shooter decides to start shooting. Right. Number one, we live in an era where everything is filmed. Period.
Yes.
People are fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know how to better say that.
So in Massachusetts, we call it retarded.
Okay. And we went completely off the PC side, and I'm here for all of it. But people are gonna film. They're gonna stop and film because everybody wants to be the next YouTube sensation.
Yeah.
They're doing what we should probably be doing, but instead we're just sitting here talking, hoping people follow us, right? But they're actually filming stuff and getting followers. Good for them. But everything is going to be filmed. So let's say I take an aggressive stance inside of a mall. I'm by myself. My family's not with me, and I think, you know what? I have a way that I can stop other people from getting hurt. There's nothing wrong with that mentality. That's why we carry, right? It is to stop a threat. And if we're in a position to stop a threat to help somebody else, that's great. However, all of a sudden you've got 14 cameras pointing at you. You take an aggressive stance and you shoot beyond your target and you take out somebody in the background, a kid per se, then all of a sudden you no longer get to go home to your kids. It doesn't matter that your kids weren't there. You won't get to see them again.
Absolutely.
You know, and with that, like the the minds of the pyramid of priorities. Well, think of it this way too. I had a law enforcement instructor say this in a class. Everybody think, and viewers, listeners out there, think of two people that you care about. I do this in my class. I'm not sure if I did it in the pepper spray class. Think of two people that you care about deeply. They care about you. You care about them, and you're going to put your life on the line for them.
Right.
Yeah, of course you would. But for a complete stranger, you got to weigh that a little heavier, right? You don't owe them anything. Be a good Samaritan, but be a smart good Samaritan.
So I took a course with Michael de Bethencourt, who I had on my show, which is he's snubtraining.com, and he's got a Facebook page. I'll have a glass of water.
I was just
for
going
you.
to say, yeah. More water. Wait, more whiskey.
More
whiskey. Yeah.
water. So it's called Snub Noir, which I think everyone should check out for sure. But he said, I took a class with him, and he said, who do you want to get out of jail for? Who do you want to go to prison for?
That's such a great, yeah.
And that's when I'm like, the boy and the girl, that's it.
That's it.
That is it. I do not want my kids to go to not go to my gravesite.
Right.
But I would much rather see my kids on weekends during visiting hours than anything else.
Well, when you think of that, you got two people you care about deeply. You're gone. Right? Think about them. Everybody think about two people you care about. You care about them, they care about you. And you're gone. You're no longer on this earth.
Done.
You're done.
Right.
You're no longer in their lives. Now, they're mentally and financially devastated because you're no longer there.
Right.
For what? A fucking hat? A wallet? A car?
Right. Something.
Is it worth it?
I think-
There's nothing in this world worth dying for other than somebody you love.
That is exactly right. If I were to meet somebody on the street that was like, "Hey, give me your wallet," and I told my wife this, I'm like, somebody comes up and says, "Give me your purse." Okay, everything
Give him
in
your
that
purse.
purse is replaceable.
You want my purse? You want my wife? Take her.
That's it, and it's whatever. She's expensive. No, I love her. My wife, I cannot get any better. I need to keep this one. But
She doesn't listen to the show. That's fine. Don't worry about it.
No,
wife might be.
my wife listened the first night with the kids until Michael started talking about jacking off a rifle, and that's when she closed it.
Oh
and-
my.
Yeah, so shit got sideways. But you know what's interesting about that, and people want to hate on Leo, and I understand. There are bad apples everywhere. I don't ever want to take away from that. There are people. Every job has bad people. There's just bad people. Okay, so that's where we have to start it as a foundation. But when you look in law enforcement, and I used to reserve with our sheriff's department and worked a whole lot with our guys on a lot of different levels. But we walked into a situation once, and this is just one example where you don't realize the position that anybody that draws a gun is put in immediately. People just think, oh, draw a gun and handle the situation, and that's not how it works. And you go out in public. This particular instance was we got called to a scene that was a domestic. We got there, we roll up. It's me and my partner. My partner is black, and the guy
Why is race?
well, you're gonna see in a second. Unfortunately, it did play. Yeah, it played into all this. We pulled into a trailer park, and there was a guy in the middle of the road.
Trailer park sounds white to me.
Yeah, right. Had a knife open, and we get out, and both of us start laying down commands. Hey, drop your knife, whatever. He starts backing up, going down the road, and he ends up at the first trailer in this trailer park. So at this point, we're in a weird position because number one, I don't have a camera on because they don't get the reserves cameras. That's a problem. It's not that I want oversight, but I want protection, and that's scary. People, there's two different things that happen there, right? So we start moving on this. He starts moving the car up. I start moving with subject. We get up. And as soon as he gets up to the trailer, he stands with this ramp behind him. And all of a sudden, all 6 of his kids under the age of 10 run out and are standing on the ramp behind him with his wife, who is yelling at us saying,
Hold on.
he doesn't.
6 of his kids?
Yes, under 10. Yeah. And he starts yelling at us saying, or the wife comes out, and the wife's standing there, and he's like, look, he's not crazy. He's okay. He's not going to hurt anybody.
6 kids under 10. He's not crazy.
Yeah, right.
Uno
Idiot.
momento, por favor.
So,
At least you've taken that off of me. having
right,
grandkids.
right. So we oh God. So we pull up and at this point my partner's got the car pulled up. My partner gets out. When he does, his camera gets knocked off. He no longer has a camera on him. Our car's no longer pointed at the scene.
Oh.
I have no camera on me. So now all of a sudden we're faced with the situation of what do we do? He walks up to his wife, puts the knife on his wife's throat. So what I've got is
Hold on.
yeah.
I totally understand that.
He gets it. He said.
I don't think the girl is watching
Sorry, girl,
anymore. I
if
totally
you're watching,
understand that.
yeah. No. So what I've got now is I've got a suspect on my left holding a knife on his wife's throat that's on my right with 6 kids standing behind them. I've got my partner to the left and I've got me to the right. Neither one of us with a clean shot. And all of a sudden he goes into this just incredibly racist. My partner's yelling commands. He's like, I'm not going to listen to you. And I won't repeat what's said because it's disrespectful in a way that I'm not okay with repeating. And so I'm like, okay.
As long as the direct quote is completely fine.
And so I start yelling commands. But as a police officer, even people don't realize in that moment, now all of a sudden our entire focus was taken away from the situation that was handled like, oh shit, how are we going to protect ourselves if I have to pull this trigger? God forbid. And I felt secure in the fact of I can take the shot. That's fine. You can feel secure all day long. But when adrenaline starts changing everything, anything can happen.
Everything.
But it's scary for a police officer. And people don't realize that. They think we just grab a gun and we're gun happy and we're ready to go. But it's like we are scared to death because we know that even more than a civilian, everything we're going to do is going to be put up on jury in front of everybody.
Yeah. I did a class in Ohio, and I had 2 Cleveland, Ohio SWAT officers in the class. And you think SWAT officers, highly trained,
Right.
UTM, the UTM force on force.
Yeah.
Everybody have told you that in the class we did. And they were on opposite sides, and one of the SWAT officers shot the other SWAT officer, but it wasn't supposed to. He was supposed to shoot the hostage taker, but he shot the actual hostage.
Oh, God.
I mean, it was
Oh,
UTM,
my.
so it was. But the
Right.
point is they're highly trained
Right.
within 9 to 15 feet. Tom Gibbons, 86.2% of the time, violent encounters happen within 9 to 15 feet, and he shot him.
Right.
And it was like, wow. And I still have the vest that I use in the classes. I probably had it when I did it with yours with the rip in it.
Yeah.
And that was that SWAT officer shot the other SWAT officer right there.
Right there.
And it was the hostage because
Boom.
you can't pause it. There's no pausing
right.
a gunfight. And I say
There's
that
not.
all the time. You cannot, no matter how good of a shot you are, you may think you got the best angle, you got the best timing, whatever. There's no guarantee.
There's not.
No, and that's
No.
SWAT officers.
I had a bunch of years ago. I had someone contact me, and give me a phone call. I was sitting at a Panera, and the guy
That is
calls
a
me.
target.
Right. Exactly. It's a yeah. So guy calls me. I'm sitting at a printer. He calls me up, and he says, "Hey, listen, do you work with new shooters?" Absolutely. I'm like, look, I teach band to
High school kids.
to instrument, like I teach band. I do fundamentals. That's all I do. Side alignment, trigger press, side alignment, trigger press, side alignment, trigger press. That's what I do. And so he comes out and says, "Oh, look, I'm a SWAT officer. I didn't pass my qualification.
Wow.
Didn't pass my qualification.
I mean, that's
wanna
not
learn."
good, but
Right,
it's good they're
right.
coming to you.
Right.
Do
It's good that you came for help.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
For sure.
Do you work with new shooters? Absolutely. Absolutely. I bought some Azum is not a sponsor of the show,
They are of mine. Lyman.
but
Lyman
God
is a
damn it,
sponsor.
they should be.
Yeah, I'll help you with that, Charlie.
So he says, we go some shooting, we do some shooting, and low and left, and I'm like, okay, let's put some dummy rounds in here. Bang, bang, click, bang.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the problem, dude. Like
It's
that
been
is
very
exactly what the problem is. And I said, you need to do some dry firing, and I did the whole the dummy round. What was it? What is
Yeah,
it?
ball and dummy.
The ball and dummy trick. I do the ball and dummy trick for the next, I don't know, 4 hour, an hour and 45 minutes.
Right.
I
Right.
said 4 hours.
He did say
4 hours. I know it's a long time.
What do you?
I couldn't afford that ammo.
6
a
months.
premium.
6 months later. 6 months later. I can barely talk. 6
See
months
that?
later,
I
I run
was,
into.
I was thinking nobody's gonna be riding shotgun with Charlie.
No, not tonight.
So tonight we're doing walking shotgun with riding Uber with Charlie is what we're doing tonight,
Oh my God,
bitches.
that would be so much fun. I would be down for that.
It'd be-
That would be awesome.
Could be
Okay,
driving
so
So the
driving
guy- so
Daisy
six-
with Charlie.
6 months later, the guy, shockingly, 6 months later, the guy runs into me at a liquor store, and he
Woo.
says, "Hey, are you Charlie Cook?" I'm like,
Maybe.
what's the right answer here? And
Who
he
are you?
says, "Listen,
Who's
I was the guy.
asking?
I was at the class. You know, we did the ball and dummy trick. I've been dry firing for 6 months because I'm
Awesome.
like, dude, you need dry fire.
Yeah.
Down and left, boom, like legit. When a police officer who's on the SWAT team says to you, "Do you want to shoot my gun?" Yes, I do.
Yes.
Yes, I
He
do.
thinks it's the
So-
gun.
Right, and then I'm like, front sight press, front sight press, front sight press, and you get 3 shots that are almost bullseyes.
Same hole. Yeah.
It's not the gun, dude.
No, dude. I
It
love
is
handing.
not the
It's
gun.
never the
Because
gun.
this is what he did.
Yeah.
Bang, 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 click.
I love handing it back to them after that.
There's the problem, dude.
Like
You
they
sure?
know they've spent good money
right.
when you like. No, gun's fine.
The gun's fine, dude. Absolutely. And 6 months later, like I said, I ran
That's
into
awesome.
ran into a liquor store. He's like, "Hey man, I've been dry firing. This stuff's totally worked." I'm like, "That's awesome. This is what
Love
we
to
teach
hear
people
that.
for."
Give me a
This is what we
review. Yelp, please.
Right.
5 stars is what we're looking for.
And
So,
I'm on the
yeah.
Uber account, that'd be great too.
Right?
And oh, by the way, do you want to?
Do you
God,
charge
great.
people
You want
to
to?
ride with you? Could you imagine if like, yeah, you can do the show with me, but I need you to request me on Uber real quick. I'm gonna accept this.
So cross promotion, baby. Wait, did I do? Was that a good Charlie
That
voice?
was a good Charlie
Cross
voice.
promotion, baby.
That's
Wait,
awesome.
that wasn't
That
as
was
good.
not
No,
it, but
the
before
first
you were
one was.
good,
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
Thought so.
Okay.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Oh, this is
So yeah,
great.
so
We should get drunk more often.
Well, we should.
yes, we
Quinn
should.
says yes.
Oh my
Well,
god.
all of your staff is like, hell no. I
My
want
my
to go to
yeah,
bed.
my staff's like, what the
Yeah.
fuck
Right.
is he trying us to do?
What time is it?
Yeah.
Why aren't you guys drinking?
Wasn't
Why aren't you drinking?
didn't
should be.
You are okay. Why aren't you drinking?
Dave's drinking. David drinking.
Yeah.
What's-
Wait for what?
Guns.com party.
The gun. Oh,
The Guns.com party
I'm holding
Should
on.
we-
started a half hour ago?
Did it?
You are supposed to go.
Yeah, we'll be fashionably late.
Fashionable.
That was my
I went to the Guns.
impression of
I went.
That was
I went.
good.
Who's
I
on
went to
that?
the Guns.com party. Wait.
Connie.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not sure you can go.
Let me have some water.
Who's the guy on Scooby Doo?
Wait a second. Who's
Yes.
That's who I was
Who's
trying to
Hey,
be.
God, what is his name?
Who's the sponsor of the Guns.com party?
Guns.com.
Oh yeah, Guns.com.
Some com.
Something.
.com.
Right.
But anyway, I was.
Noble Equipment refurbishing.
Who might that be? Yeah.
How many
My
jerky
line
packs
is
are
this.
How many
there?
jerky packs? Hey,
How about those Red Sox?
How about those Red Sox? Hey, how many jerky packs have y'all stolen from the Jack Links people so far?
None.
What?
I had
3, not a 1.
Bro,
I actually,
okay, facts.
I looked at it and I was like, you know, I could do some jerky, but I didn't have any.
Bro, and they've got a so Jack Links is like doing some I don't know, they're sponsoring this year's SHOT Show or something. So they've
Hold
got
on,
some,
uno momento, por favor.
oh god, Jack Links.
Jack's Links better than
Yeah.
okay.
Mm,
Jack's Links.
Jack's
Jack's Links.
So
This is not just Matt Mallory's Jack's Links. It's everyone's Jack's Links. Jack's Links.
so-
Jack's Links is Matt Mallory's other YouTube channel.
that's funny. So they've actually got some mildly attractive women downstairs handing out Jack Links. And
Oh,
they're
right, the mildly attractive women look like a fucking Sasquatch.
whatever.
they're
purposely-
women. They're women that are like 6.5
Right,
feet tall.
that's right. Well, I've put in an extra 6,000 steps just to walk by their booth and steal Jack's Links every time I go past it. So if you wondered how many I stole today, it was 9. 9 was today's total. Yesterday was like 6. I will get at least to 15 tomorrow. Although they start making you scan now. So it sucks. But anyways, Jack. So what? Fun story about Jack's Links is they own another jerky company. I only know this. So they're a big sponsor of. They're a big sponsor of Chad Belding, so I was with him all season, right? And so they own I don't know what the brand name is, but whatever the other brand of jerky they own is significantly better than Jack's Links.
Jack.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I think it's Jack Mehoff.
That's definitely the jerky that they own secondarily.
I was just taking my Jack.
Yeah. Okay.
I was jacking.
Yeah. Okay. All right, y'all gotta go to a party.
I guess so. This
I-
is so fucking fun, though.
Legit, dude. Like
This is fun. Give him
Amy is like, come to do this show.
Okay, Nick's got a question for you.
Oh,
No, I mean you.
Oh, for
Oh,
me.
bullshit,
Nick.
They're getting off. I gotta.
We're not getting off. We're jacking off. I mean, we're having Jack Links.
Okay, are you asking me now or when
Jack's
we get
Links
done?
off.
Right now?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, tell me what you got.
Oh.
Oh, God, show some Jack me off.
Jack's Links jerky.
Sorry.
driving down the road,
Yep.
someone pulls up, tries messing with you, road rage, whatever. You
Okay.
have to pull your gun out in traffic.
No.
So everyone in that entire traffic jam just watched you shoot somebody in the face.
Okay,
No.
so I'm gonna repeat what he said because I'm not sure that people heard him.
Right.
Let me still that microphone. He asked if you're driving down the road, you've got a situation where you're angry at another driver. There's a little bit of road rage happening.
Dude, I'm from Massachusetts. I am angry at every fucking driver there is. Jesus fucking Christ. I am pissed at the people that are doing the fucking speed limit.
But he asked if you pull.
Massachusetts is not a state.
Massachusetts is not a state. David,
This segment is brought to you by
this whole room
Arrowhead
has gone
Water.
to hell. No, so he asked if that happens, and
Oh.
you pull out a firearm. Are you asking if it was in self-defense? So someone else pulls a firearm.
It is. No, I'm saying you're doing it in self-defense.
Yes.
So like out in traffic, someone tries robbing you, someone tries attacking you, you're a woman in traffic.
Okay.
You shoot him.
Right.
Somebody sees it. You guys go, well, do I jump in or not? But there's a lot of civilians who are going to try and jump in, just like in fights. So you have to deal with that as a civilian too, not just walking away. When you pull your gun out and shoot somebody, what if a bystander just saw you shoot somebody? Then you have to deal with them as well. What if they come at you with their gun?
So I want to take that and go to a different point real quick. Hang on, we're gonna come back to that because that reminded me of a different angle of this that was in the very first advanced firearms class I took years and years and years ago. Was brought up to me of if you're going to carry a firearm, please make sure I come back to his question because that's good. But
So, hold on.
okay,
What was the question?
yeah, we'll get there. We're gonna come back to that, Massachusetts. It's
So this is brought to you by Arrowhead Water.
No, one of the things that was taught to me early that I think people forget about is if I go into an active shooter situation,
that far.
if I go into an active shooter situation and I pull my firearm to stop the threat, 9 times out of 10, obviously, if that happens, I'm gonna be there before the police are. What does that mean?
Right. So I like to say this. We call this an immediate responder, not an active or first responder.
Right.
It's an immediate responder. So
Why can't we just call a first responder? What the hell's wrong with that?
but it was for first.
Don't make it
Let me
rain.
have
Well,
some more
immediate,
water.
immediate's at the scene at that time.
That's fair.
Right.
First responder to be the first person on the scene.
Right.
Okay.
Outside that
Reverse-
situation.
That makes sense. Okay.
We're first responder. We often think as the police officer or the cops or whatever.
Right.
They are the first responder, but an immediate responder is the person that's there.
Right.
And I've interviewed a number of people that are with Faster Safe Lives
Right.
or Faster Colorado. Both of them, God bless them. You know, Laura Carno and I've done shows with Laura Carno and Quinn Cunningham. They are the immediate responders because they're the people that are there when bad things happen.
Right. That makes
And I like to tell people this: when the police response for time, Jesus,
sense.
right, I can't even say it myself.
I
The
love
Why I
this.
moved that over
Yeah,
here.
that's a good
I'm
call.
so glad my daughter's not watching it
Yeah,
anymore.
she is.
But
Yeah.
Dad.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my God, Dad! Like you're so drunk.
Yeah.
The immediate responder is the person that's there when they're there at the time.
Right.
The police are. What are we talking about?
All right, let me
Fucking
let me help out
I'm
here.
gonna let him take you in here.
How
Let me help
about
out.
the-
I haven't drinking in a little bit. So.
How about those Red Sox?
Yeah. How about the Red Sox? Yeah.
Is his dead? Is Mike
That's
dead?
yours. It's your mic. Oh, no,
He's
Count.
got one. Yeah.
I got one.
We got two of them. Yeah.
So, no matter what you do, somebody on the outside is going to possibly think that what happened there in that situation isn't what they see. I mean, our two most powerful senses
That's
are
what I want to
our ears and our eyes.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
when and in the analogy I use in my class, and it actually a lot of people piss poo on this guy, but this is something I gleaned from him, and no matter how bad of an instructor you are, some of this stuff can be valid. Dale Brown, Dust,
Oh.
Detroit Urban Survival. I got to
Right,
tase
right.
I got to tase Dale back in March, which was
Oh,
awesome.
Awesome. Yeah.
But one of the things that he said in my interview with him 3 hours was, you walk around the corner and you see somebody standing there with a guy with his hand on a woman's neck. What are you witnessing? Well, you don't know. You just walk around and the guy's got his hand on the neck.
I'm gonna go back to you don't know who's the bad guy and who's the bad guy, or who's the good guy. You could have sold the Masada.
I'm going to go back to Charlie and Driving tonight.
Sold Masada.
This is the most fun I've had in weeks.
I
Yeah.
fucking love that shit.
Awesome.
So, the Masada story is you don't know who the bad guy is and who the good guy
You
is.
don't know who the bad guy is, who the good guy is. And there's a good chance. that
But
if
not
you
the bad
pull
guy, the good guy.
the good guy. But the instructor that I sat with first, what he told me was like, if you're gonna go in and stop an active threat because you're already on scene, so you're the immediate responder, right? So if you're already on scene, then there's a good chance that when the cops come in, you are the shooter.
Definitely.
And I think-
Look, what it comes down to is this: cops don't know who the bad guy is and who the good guy
and it's
is.
not there.
They see.
Right.
I'm generalizing here. They see they see a dead guy,
Right.
and they see someone with a gun.
Right.
They don't know who the bad guy is. They don't know who the what did I say?
Good
They
guy.
don't know who the good guy is. They don't know who the bad guy is. They see a dead person, or they see someone that's not responsive. They don't see that's responsible, and they.
Go to sleep.
I know it. I would love to go to sleep right now. Jesus
Playing
Christ.
lullabies to death.
I was supposed to be I was supposed to be at another party 40 minutes ago.
I don't think you're going to make it. So there's.
How do I? What I really want to know is this: how do I do this show? You do the show every day?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Drunk?
Sign me fucking up, bitches. Sign me up. I want to do this every show.
This is great. This is good.
So this is
We're gonna
this
have
is-
our own,
This is
like-
Charlie's. Hey, you listen. It's self-defense, and his 12-step program.
Like
Jesus Christ.
Amy's got her own perfume. You're gonna have your own alcohol soon enough.
This
So-
show is this show is brought to you by Jack Daniels.
Drink responsibly is their title. That's
Drink
what it is.
responsibly.
And we jack
Right.
off. I mean, we have Jack Links while we're eating,
Yeah.
or while we're doing it. So there's
there we
two.
go.
There's actually.
Go ahead. You're good. I'm listening.
So there's actually two different situations that we've seen in the news recently.
Yeah.
One is the Florida active shooter at the mall,
Okay.
where he has his gun out and he's trying to escort people out. He's waving his hand. Cops show up. They see a gun, active shooter call. They shoot the guy in the back. He's an off-duty security guard at a Florida mall.
Hold
black
on.
black guy, and he gets shot in the back.
Well, first of all, what's that have to do with race?
Fuck you.
Second of all, why does
no
it
response,
right,
yeah.
right, right? He shoots him in the back.
Dot.
You're not supposed,
Right.
You're not supposed to shoot someone in the back.
Where's the back? Where's that line?
So we
Center line.
we have the equilibrium line, which I can't even
I'm
fucking
so proud of
say.
you for getting it out, though. Good
Yeah,
on
he's
you.
trying. He's trying. That's the crap he's gonna do later.
You have no idea how fast that person is trying to crash it. Dude, it is great. I did a Mag 40 class in fucking
Ohio.
Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Oh.
At Sioux Falls, South Dakota, with the guys from a lot of people from the Polite Society podcast, which is now taking a high break. And so much audio was talking about you can't shoot someone in the back unless ... They turn around
Ellipsis.
really quickly, and you've already this is what's great. I don't know if you guys know the people at
Gotta give us more.
California, Southern California. Who's the folks in town? Who's the
Charades.
So
the
many
South
people
the
live there, I don't know.
Charade. Start.
right?
Yeah.
No. It's
Charades.
the keep drinking, Charlie. It'll be fine.
I'll move that.
The guy. This
I'm gonna have to drink more to understand you. Hang on.
I'm just waiting for
Me
him to go,
too.
yeah, and
I can't wait to fucking fall asleep tonight. Oh my god. But there was somebody in Southern California that said that the sympathetic reflex is already, oh my god, I need to shoot this person. Bang. By the time you press the trigger, they'd already turned around, and
Right.
you don't have enough time to stop that from
Stop that
happening.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And-
I love that the guy that's had the show for fucking 14 hours is looking at his clock.
No, well, I was looking at a text message. 'Cause I think Michael and Curtis are coming back up.
what?
Right.
They've already gone to Pincus's party and return.
And come back. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I know.
Now, this is where it's at, though. Pincus should come here.
Pincus is coming here tomorrow night. So here's what I suggest.
We'll be here until tomorrow
Oh,
night, so
perfect.
that's
No, here's
wonderful.
Here's what I suggest. I'm sure you have things to do. But if you don't, you should totally come here, and then we will just do a whole episode about shit Pincus has put us through over the past years.
I like it.
I love that. And just put him on the spot. Make him answer for it right here.
He'll sweat. We'll see.
Oh.
He will. He's on his head.
Y'all are welcome anytime. I hope y'all know that. Yeah, this has been fun. So here's the thing. I can keep going for days.
All night.
I know. Don't you have a time limit on this shit? Don't people's batteries run out? For
No, I mean
God's
nobody's
sakes?
watching. It doesn't matter. I'm down. I'm down to like my grandma. At this point.
I can't even see.
We're at 2 hours and 48 minutes for the show time.
We
so
broke
far.
the record. We broke
Is that y'all's record?
Boom.
No, it's what's his name? He said there's
All of the guys that work for Lucas have like, fuck this, I'm leaving.
Yeah, they're out.
I gotta get some sleep, goddammit.
They all left.
Fucking
yeah.
David is still here. He's like, you know what? I really
Coro wants to
I-
know
I
who
really-
drank the JD.
love
Matt
Matt.
wants to know
This
who
is
drank the
awesome.
JD. Well, this is the second bottle. There's an empty one sitting up there. I've been on
I-
Jack. You've been on Jack.
Amy's like, oh my god, so you're like coming late. So what do you want to drink? I'm like,
What do you
Jack out of the Rocks is
He wants
fine.
to know who was drinking the Jack.
Right. So when Amy's like, so I'm not gonna grab the Jack because it's gonna be on camera. It's 20% full now.
Yeah. I'm drinking Jack out of my Delta Fuego cup here, and it says on the side, "This is my cup for the week." It says Delta Fuego coffee. Wake the fuck up. #not woke. It's a cup they make, which I love. But yeah, no, I'm down in Jack. I actually love. I'm gonna spill this for a second. I'm sorry. I'm gonna talk about Jack and this is the second time I've talked about him this week. So again, I go back to Chad's show from this year, but Jack is a big sponsor of Chad Belding's show. We go to Canada. Wait, go.
So my deal is this: I have I travel across the country. I interview 34 states I've been to.
Right.
I have 0 sponsors.
Yeah. Me neither,
Zero.
it's fine.
I
I have
want,
people I work with, but
dude. I don't
It's
have
a
anyone.
lot.
I play fucking hot cross buns with little fucking second graders to play to play fucking hot cross buns.
He's been.
This is
he,
fucking
now
bullshit.
listen.
This is bullshit.
This
So
whole wait,
I'm-
real quick.
Yeah.
Biden in presence.
Oh shit.
What?
The head.
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how do people are like, oh my god, you can have like an alcohol sponsor? Really? Fucking How many sponsors are there that drink fucking booze that sponsored like fucking goddamn NASCAR?
Right. That's exactly right.
Really?
That's
like
true.
I need a fucking whiskey sponsor.
Right.
I need a cigar sponsor.
I don't think whiskey's your thing. I think, mate, we look at cigars.
Oh
and
no,
maybe water.
I don't know. After
Yeah,
7 whiskeys,
Aquafina.
right?
Yeah. But no, Jack,
This segment's brought to you by Arrowhead.
Jack sponsors Chad. So we go to Canada, and he's like, dude, all the guys from Jack Daniels are coming to hunt with us in Canada for we were goose hunting up there. I was like, that is fantastic. This is the best news I've ever heard. So they show up, and they show up with all kinds of new alcohol. They show up with more alcohol than I think anyone can ever drink. One of their guys proves me wrong, he reminds me of you a little bit. And
I'm just trying to keep up.
I love it. But dude, they are some of the Jack staff. Have you ever been to Lynchburg? Have you ever got to go tour the Jack facility?
In the 1990s,
Right.
back
The 1900s,
in the
right?
1900s,
Yeah.
exactly. I was playing with a band in Nashville, Tennessee,
Okay.
and we went down to Lynchburg, and we got to stick our finger in a bat of fucking Jack,
Yep.
which was really cool.
Yeah.
And that was
It's cool. They have what I love most about them, when they came up, we talked to them, we sat down, and we did interviews with them all and that kind of stuff. They have an incredible staff. And one of the things that I really loved about them is they were just like very, very good dudes who were like, you know what? Like, life doesn't happen without us. And that's true. Like,
life doesn't happen. That's the new fucking. Instead of drink responsibly,
Right,
Jack Daniels.
life doesn't happen
happen without us.
But like they're right. It's like how many times do we sit down and have just a bottle of Jack? Now we're from Tennessee, so it's different for us. I know it's probably a little different for y'all in New York.
Water for you guys.
Yeah, that's it. It's what we grew up drinking. That's all we know. And so I love not just Jack, but the company of Jack. And not only that, if you meet guys that work at Jack, guys and girls that work at Jack, you will quickly learn that most of their staff have been there for their entire life. They're it's incredible company, and so I love that. So, anyways, I didn't mean to get sentimental in the middle of his blubbering.
Blubbering
mess.
is the lower it comes down.
I love it. Could you imagine the hell that Pincus would give him right now? Okay, so wait a second. I do want to come back for a second. Wait, go ahead. You've got something.
So
I can't
yeah,
not listen to,
absolutely.
man.
So
Yeah.
my deal is riding shotgun with Charlie and interviewing people in the cars. We drive around and talk about
Right,
gun
and
shit.
but you do that sober, thank God, for everyone. Yeah.
Relatively sober. Rob Pincus was doing a gun makers class down at Cape Gun Works. God bless Toby Leary and Brendan Gunworks. They're my boys. I've been doing Utah classes at the Cape Gun Works in Massachusetts, in Hyannis, Massachusetts, since 2013, 2014.
Right.
What are we talking about?
You were talking about Rob Pincus.
Pincus. Oh yeah. So he did a gun maker class a couple years ago. It's the only show that I've done. Is the only riding shotgun I've done.
Right.
Where I put people on, like, I just put tripods up and interview people. These are guys that have 3D printing guns and all sorts of shit.
Right.
So I looked at Pincus. I'm like, so now that 3D printing guns is legal, can we 3D print a gun our own fucking PD-10?
And how did he respond to that?
He says,
boys are back.
We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, we'll have that conversation later. Hey, Michael and Curtis, just jump back in the room real quick. Hey, how did Rob's event go? Good, bad?
Is it over?
It's good. It's over. Did they miss us?
Yes.
I know they missed Charlie. There's no question.
Right.
Right. I think you would have
Right.
brought a lot to that party.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Or take it.
So it's a 80% rule.
Right.
20%. It's the 80.
It's a 80-45% rule.
It's the 20%. It's the 80-20%. 80% of the Jack was here when Charlie started. 20% is left.
So we know he can drive, sorta.
Yeah.
But we probably shouldn't let him
I'm
count.
telling you. So what?
Obama and Biden and Charlie Cook.
What's crazy is he's still more coherent than Biden is on a good day.
Totally,
Totally.
1000%.
Yes. Yeah, so you're still
I-
doing better than the president of the United States of America. Good for you, Charlie.
I hate to say this. I can't even do an impersonation.
You're doing it.
I can't.
It's happening.
Dude,
Yeah.
I bet you he could walk upstairs without falling and ride a bike even. Probably could.
Oh God, the bike.
Did we answer your question? Because
No, we
we've
did
been just
not.
okay.
No, we did not.
What
We've
was
been
the-
going
what
around
was
like
the-
this.
What was the question?
Okay. Come back here.
How
Come-
about
come-
those Red
take
Sox?
This microphone and ask the question so that.
answer that question.
Yeah, take this. And
When's
answer
the
my-
battery
talk
gonna
in-
die
talk
in
in
these
this too.
fucking cameras?
Here, talk to this too.
All right.
Talking both.
So, when you're driving down the street and someone's mad at you, you cut them off, you did whatever. For some reason, they're coming up trying to attack you. You're driving in your car, and you pull your gun out on them because they're running up on your car. A lot of states that's legal, depends on your state, whatnot. Providing you're legally all right, you pull your gun out. He tries dragging out your car. You shoot him. Then everybody at the traffic light around you sees you just shot this man without knowing the context because they didn't hear it because they're in their cars. How many of those guys have concealed carry weapons? How many of them try and step up and stop you? What do you do in that scenario? Because then if you killed the first person, then someone else pulls a gun and tries shooting you and you shoot them too, that could
I
escalate
see.
into a lot. How do you
Yeah.
prevent that ever happening in a mall, in traffic,
Anywhere.
anywhere? Because look at fights. How many people jump in just because their friend is?
Right.
How?
You set your gun on the
So-
ground and you call it a day. If the guy comes after you at that point, then you pick your gun up and because he is now a threat. Otherwise, you're going to prison. and
Michael
you're
said
gonna
you put your
enjoy-
gun down. No one can.
Yeah, you're gonna enjoy
So-
Taco Tuesday because
Right.
you just initiated the threat.
Right.
You're no longer the
Right.
person that is being
Did you say
attacked.
Taco Tuesday? Why do you? Why do you?
Charlie
assume,
checked out. Charlie
Why,
checked
why
out.
do you assume they're Mexicans? For God's sakes,
So
right?
So I guess my first thought process to this would be, you know, if you in self-defense defend yourself against somebody who you're justified in defending yourself against, and then you have other people that don't know the context of the situation, maybe they heard something or saw something, but they don't have the full picture between seeing and hearing,
Right.
then you definitely need to be able to articulate to them. So I call it the you got to give them the ATM. So something that I say in my classes is you got to ask, tell, make. You might not be able to ask them to drop their knife as they're stabbing you, but you sure as hell better be telling them to drop the knife as you're screaming at them as you're shooting them. Because if you're telling them to drop the knife as they're coming at you to stab you, as you're making them drop the knife by shooting them, which would be kind of the scenario we were talking about, other people will hear that. And anytime, like if somebody kicked that door in right now, we're all gonna, after we jump, we're gonna look. Because
I'm going with Charlie again, but I think he's got it, to be honest.
So somebody jump in this class. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put.
I'm gonna just give him Jack Daniels.
I'm gonna put Mallory in front of me and use him as a meat shield. Fucking
Yeah.
shoot
Anyway.
Matt. I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
his
that's
shield.
a fair question because when you're right. In a fight and anything else, people want to jump in. People want to be heroes. We're in a world where people want to be heroes, especially if there's something recording. And so, how to combat that? I've got no idea. I do know that that using your voice is the biggest thing you can ever do. And it's funny. Most people don't think about that. They're like, I'm gonna pull a gun and scare somebody. No, please yell at somebody. If you're gonna pull your gun, yell as loud as you can. Be as angry as you can. Do what you have to do. Do whatever you have to do to not have to pull that trigger. That's what I want you to do, because once you pull that trigger, your life changes completely.
I like to tell people you have to hire an attorney to prove that it's legal for you to do all this stuff. So you're gonna have to spend $150,000.
Or millions if you're talking about Zimmerman or
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
Rittenhouse.
I interviewed Marcus Weldon. He was known as the Santa Claus shooter. So if you Google the Santa Claus shooter, he spent $50,000 to prove that it was illegal for him to justify it and shoot somebody. And it's not even that he shot somebody; he shot at somebody. He didn't shoot somebody. He didn't kill anybody. But it was $50,000 to prove that it was justified. They charged him with 7 felonies, and they're like, "Hey, listen, just fess up, just like take the 7 felonies and call it a day." And he's like, "No, I'm not. That's bull."
Bullshit.
right, is bullshit. Right,
mean,
you,
well, you
like,
got-
you like that?
Yeah, I did like that. It was interesting.
It's bullshit.
I like that.
Um,
But Mossad, like Mossad Ayub, right? You got the affirmative defense. If somebody said, "Hey, you robbed a bank," what are you going to say? No, it wasn't me. I didn't do it. I got an alibi. Right. But if you say, "Yes, I shot that person in self-defense," that's an affirmative defense. Military, law enforcement. What's affirmative mean? Yes, I did it. You're admitting that you did it. So you have to have a solid, ironclad defense against that. And if we look at somebody, somebody else could say, well, no, that person's the bad guy because they had a gun.
Right.
Well, that doesn't necessarily mean you're wrong, but that
Somebody
doesn't mean a
Charlie,
DA.
Matt, me, you.
Exactly. So
Any one of us shoot somebody, it's completely different
So,
than somebody
million
that
percent.
does not have any training.
because you're held at a higher standard.
Yes.
Law enforcement, military, law enforcement
Everyone is held at
instructor,
a higher standard.
totally. And they're going to look at it. You should have had more reserve than the average citizen that you teach. And I've had numerous encounters in the public with stuff like that. Afterwards, I've said, man, I'm glad I handled that like I teach my students to handle it. Because if I didn't, imagine how they would make me. No matter, I know the DA. Doesn't matter. I know the DA. I have drinks with the DA. I got a cell number, my local county DA. But that governor in New York State or that attorney general who hates us,
Governor Karen Hochul.
Karen
I
Hochul,
used to call him this the unelected governor, Karen Hochul.
the one that had the
I was doing a Polite Society podcast one time. Paul Lathrop, who's a very good friend of mine, we were doing this thing called the Daily Bullet with a Polite Society podcast. He went through 27 different things. Like and here's the funny thing, he kept the camera on me as he listed all of these things, and I'm like,
because you're awesome.
right, do I follow the Google Doc of what he's saying and and synchronize this shit, that'd be fucking funny. But all of this stuff is bullshit. It's bullshit.
But that's what we're fighting against.
We absolutely
We're
are.
fighting against that stuff where you have like the four horses. I talk about the criminal, civil, mental, jury, public opinion, and then even on the criminal aspect, you've got the governor that can step in and appoint somebody like they did in the Zimmerman case. Right. You've got federally where the Department of Justice steps in and actually charges the guy in the Rodney King case, where two of the officers are still in prison today from the 80s. I mean, people don't get that. They don't understand that. So back to your thought process on that. In that situation, yes, like Pinka says, do what you need to do to defend yourself, but then you got to be able to articulate and
Have to answer for what you do.
Yes.
Period. You got to be able to articulate and authenticate. How do you cover your ass? Mossad Ayub.
CIA, can you articulate? Oh, that's what you need to know. Can you articulate all of the stuff that you're talking about?
CYA, cover your ass.
If you cannot articulate,
And authenticate.
I was in fear for my life.
Yep, totally.
I was in fear for my life, and then you have to be able to tell what happened. You have to be able to calm yourself down, because if you get into this kind of situation where no matter what it is, if you got to draw a gun, you got to fight. Anything that happens outside of your normal, the adrenaline is absolutely going. What?
No, don't do it.
God, I can't. I'm not gonna look at him, Curtis. I can't look at him. I'm gonna look at you, my BBF, my big black friend, or my best black friend. You can call it whatever you'd like. Yeah.
Not that race has anything to
Race
do with
has
it.
nothing to do with it. Oh, look at that! I put the microphone back on this mic, and it now sticks to our mics. You're welcome. But no, I think.
I wish you would have figured that out 2 fucking hours ago. Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Oh, touching?
Yeah. Yeah, you can do it with yours too. You can just stick yours right up there. But no, you've got to be able to walk yourself through what's going to happen. You've got to get through the adrenaline rush that you're going to fight with. And that's the one thing I feel like we talked about it last night. But like adrenaline controls everything that happens in that situation. You have to be able to control yourself, bring it back down, because what the police don't want to hear is somebody that sounds like Charlie at a fucking crime scene where they walk up and they're like, oh, yeah, everything bad happened and I don't know. It's just they came up with a gun.
There was an old one.
There was a, yeah. And there's weird impressions and shit happens and shit gets weird, right? That's
Listen,
not.
I had no idea what was going on. There was nothing wrong with anything. This was the best crime ever. I'm telling you, if there were crimes, this was the best
This was
crime
the best
ever.
one. But no, but there is going to be a body cam. Something is going to record that. They're going to use that in court against you, period. And so not only that, but then I still think when you talk about the pyramid, the fourth is your biggest one. That public opinion is still the biggest one that affects people today, because you at some point, no matter what you get, if you get 20, if you get nothing, you have to go back out in public and you have to face that. And you look at the what's the girl's name that just got out of prison for killing her mom? What was that girl's name? There's big headlines everywhere. I can't remember her name.
It's so big we can't remember it.
Yeah, what was her name? Rosie, yeah. So, no, not.
Wrong woman.
But no,
Rosie O'Donnell.
but we saw with her. She spent I think she spent 18. 10. Okay, 10. So she spent 10 years. This shit went away, and on the 10th year, that shit came back. It's going to come back when you get out of prison, no matter what you do. If Kyle Rittenhouse would have got sentenced for whatever reason, which would have been stupid, but if he would have got sentenced, and it didn't matter if he was 25 in, he would have come out at 25, and it would have made every major headline when he came out. You're going to have to deal with the public opinion, and it's going to affect your life in every single way. And so that's a big
public
deal.
opinion is really what it comes down to. Like you said about, I was teaching. We were talking about George Zimmerman.
Yeah.
I got a message. I was teaching a home farm safety class to one single black American from Springfield, Massachusetts.
Like Curtis?
Like
Did he look
Curtis,
like
just like
Curtis?
that black guy?
He was a little taller.
A little taller, he said.
He said it right.
He did say it right, though. I was impressed. Yeah.
So I get this. I legit. I have my phone hanging on like this. What do you call it? The white camera, the white screen, the white whatever.
I
The white,
can't.
the
I
white,
mean, this
the
is going-
whiteboard. And Zimmerman's name pops up. I get this one guy in a
We're
class.
gonna have to go to Rumble. We're not gonna be able to be on YouTube even more tonight. I'm trying to help Charlie, but
Great. So much for that. You know what? It's the 80. It's
If
the
we ever
80.
if we ever play charades, Charlie, I do not want to be your partner.
Sounds like.
Do you want me to come sit in the middle?
yes.
No. So are you all right? So are you ready for this shit? I don't know. You were not here for this. You were not here for this. Go ahead. All right. Come on.
Oh God. We just got some. Okay, we're adding more people. Curtis is now.
There's more diversity.
It's like
so
an Oreo.
I was doing a show. I was doing a show one time.
Tell everybody he's got a black best friend. You see where this is going, right? Okay.
Where's Rob?
So this is completely true. I did a show with Argo J. Argo J was the guy that builds AR-15s in Milwaukee, and somebody sent a gun to the gun store that he worked at, and it was not necessarily what he said was this. He says some guy came in and dropped this gun off and says, "This is a gun that we don't sell to these N-word people."
Wow.
And so
That's fucked up.
I'm filming a show. I'm being very careful here. I'm filming a show in Milwaukee, and Argo J says, "Hey, listen, this guy brought this gun in. Says, listen, this is a gun that we don't sell the N-word people." I'm like, obviously, it's a high point.
Right. Obviously, it's a high point. Curtis, I'm so sorry.
Right. So I talked to my friends, and I'm like, all right, so here's the deal. I got this guy that used the N-bomb on my show. And then I talked to my friends. I talked to my friends that push the limit. They're like, dude, you didn't say it. And then I talked to my friends that do not like to push the limit. Like, oh my God, dude, you can't say this. So you know what I referred back to? Oh, I referred back to Mr. Audio, and Mr. Direct quote. And he said, this is a gun that we do not sell to. We do not sell these nigger guns to people.
Oh God, that's what he said.
This is
is
their
just
direct quote.
Direct.
This is direct quote. So it's
sorry, Curtis, you missed. We're allowed to
it's
say direct.
perfectly fine.
We're allowed to say direct quotes.
As long as it's direct quote, it's
as-
perfectly fine.
We'll explain it later. I'm so sorry.
I know, right? So Argo J.
Silent Bob on the show.
He
Like,
is. He just sits here and makes expressions. I love
So
it.
if you go back to Riding Shotgun with Charlie, look for Argo J.
Yeah.
I have two black people in the car. I have Argo J and Rhonda Izell in the back of my car, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do about this, right? And so I let everything go. I let everything slide. I put it on there. I put it on the show. I didn't edit it. I didn't edit it. So what are we talking about?
I don't know.
I have no fucking idea.
Rifle, Argo J.
Right. So
Some of our
yeah.
black friends.
So right. So I'm like, this is not my deal. I didn't say the N word. This guy did. It'll be fine. And then this is really what it came down to. I'm like, even YouTube doesn't watch my show to check.
My ratings of 2.
People watching YouTube.
So few YouTube people watch Running Shot. Not even YouTube watches this to see if I'm using the N bomb.
You know, it's funny. It's funny you say that because when we were doing some of the lives, people are touching guns like Mike and Brett Lentz and stuff, and I'm like, wait,
Oh, yeah.
we're doing live. We can't touch guns. We're like, yeah, but are they really gonna know? I mean,
Who watches this show?
Yeah, I mean, our whole 5 listeners,
Right,
and
right. All
20
7 of us.
viewers. Yeah,
We did a show with Gabby Franco.
Yeah.
It was a competitive shooter from Venezuela, and I said, listen, you know what? You can't hold the Walther firearm, but I said you can put it behind you on the shelf.
Yep.
So I'm like, I'm right. So I'm like, I'm gonna take you off the video, right? I'm gonna take you off the video, and you can put the gun on there. And when you're done, I'm gonna put it back up, and you can show it, and it's perfectly fine. It's so fucking rich.
Yeah.
I think in Massachusetts the way it is, the way they say it is.
Wait, come back. What was that last word you said?
In Massachusetts, the way they say
Okay.
it's fucking retarded.
Okay.
All of a sudden, fucking Macky Mac.
Do y'all,
Fucking
do
Macky
y'all,
Mac and the monkey
do y'all
punch.
ever have those shows where you're like, you know what? If they would force this on everybody in our industry to watch, we would be the most watched show that ever happened.
I know, right?
That's how I feel like this show is right now.
Exactly how it is. My deal is this: everybody knows who I am. I'm telling you, Ashley Lubinsky knows who I am. Masada, you knows who I am. All these people know who I am, but I have a YouTube channel. Nobody knows. Nobody fucking knows. Nobody fucking
Wait,
knows.
I've got a question. Because how does Coleon get away with all his gun handling stuff?
he's really white.
So am I, but what's your point?
So a whole uno momento, por favor. Have you seen Coleon without a hat?
No,
He's bald, isn't he?
You haven't. I found a picture of Coleon Noir without a hat, and I put it on my Instagram. I don't know, a couple years ago.
And let me guess, he sent you a cease and desist.
He did not send me a cease. This would have been great. This would have been great. I put this picture up, and the comment, the stuff I put on Instagram is, I used to think the people that watched Superman and didn't know the difference between Superman, Clark, and Kent were fucking retarded. Those were not the exact words I used.
Retarded.
But I'm like, I put a picture of Coleon Noir without a hat on, and I don't take this. Don't drink. You ready for this?
He should take his
This
own
is
advice.
shocking. This is
He
shock-
should take his
this
own
is
advice.
shocking.
That's great advice.
You ready for
Tell
this?
us more. Yeah.
He looks like a black guy. And I put the picture of him with a hat on, and I'm like, it looks like Coleon Noir. I'm like, you don't know the difference. It's like Superman and Coleon Noir. It's Superman, Coleon. When Superman wears glasses, you have no idea he's Clark Kent. When he takes the glasses off, he fucking gets a curly Q. He's Coleon Noir, or he's Superman. When Coleon Noir doesn't have a hat on, he's a black dude. When he puts a hat on with a fucking flat brim,
That's valid.
it's Coleon Noir.
That's valid. This is on point.
I'm like, you have no idea.
I don't know how we did not get to answer your question.
So,
Somehow
what
or
was
another,
the
we went
question?
around a whole round of shit.
There was a question.
There was a question. I think
I
some,
thought that was the answer.
that is the answer. It's because it's white. But beyond that,
C&T Designs and Arms says all of your social credit scores are negative right now.
oh, that's
Oh,
fine. Yeah, no, that's how
perfect.
I'm good with that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I did? I did a fucking
Yeah.
gun. I did a gungram of the Chinese national anthem,
Oh God.
playing the trumpet, shooting a gun, and my social scores went up.
I did a China balloon. We shot a China balloon.
Did you?
Yeah, and we found some.
Yo, you got it on the microphone. I'm sorry. God.
Low budget shit we're doing. Type
All
B
hold-
level
Is
crap.
this bad that I have to go to the bathroom?
I do too.
Oh,
But we're not
Jesus
going
Christ.
together.
No, yo.
All right, you're on, man.
You've been promoted.
Uno momento, por favor.
No, okay, real quick. So, oh God, he's taking everything with him. Okay.
Woo!
Hey, what's the over/under that he falls asleep on the toilet in a second? Because I think there's a good chance that shit can happen. I agree. And I'm here for it. And if so, we're taking the camera to the bathroom. Right.
You don't want him to drown.
How apparently you should go with him. Yeah. Sharpie. Big dick on his face if he does that. I agree. Okay, I want to talk about that for a second. It's interesting because you're right. When we talk about YouTube and what people can get away with, why can people get away with stuff? And I mean that. And I've wondered a lot if YouTube, if there's an algorithm that lives in YouTube that says, you know what, they're breaking the rules, but we're making enough money off of advertising.
Breaking news. He has the microphone with him.
Oh my God! That's amazing. Can you hear him? He's taking a dookie or is he going piss right now?
It's number one.
It's a number one.
Confirmed
Okay.
number one.
So somebody want to go knock on the door and say, "Hey, Charlie,
Let's not tell him till he gets back. Go
we
tell
got
him.
some ambient noise out here that we want to get rid
I
of."
really want to get his response when he gets on a microphone, so let's just wait.
Let's
and
just sit here
pretend
and
it didn't happen.
let's just sit here and watch him as he comes out with just like.
Charlie Cook just had a hot mic moment.
He had a Biden moment.
Yeah. Oh, he did.
He had a Biden moment.
Yeah. Hey,
Ice cream?
Hey.
Tell me something real quick. How did your number onesie go?
How did my number onesie go?
'Cause we
I'm
know.
Standing there, I'm like, don't I have a microphone on me? Shit! All of a sudden, you know what I feel
You
like?
do.
I feel like Leslie Nielsen.
Microphone on.
So-
I feel like Leslie Nielsen.
Two of you on my stream.
Oh my God! How fucking
And I
pathetic is that?
think I'll take my leave and go not be
Christ.
Mike.
I'll take the mic from you. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Yeah.
How about those Red Sox? Yeah,
How
don't
about-
put the microphone on you. I've had this thing on for so long. I have no fucking idea.
My ex-wife, we were I used to shoot weddings back in my early days of my production company. I used to film weddings. God, leave it to this guy. So used to film weddings, and we put a mic on a groom. I went to the back. I was monitoring audio. The groom then looks at his best man and says, "What my ex-wife, but at that time my wife was working with me, and she was a camera operator. He said, I'm gonna tell you something. I'd take that camera girl to the back and I'd do some nasty things to her." And I'm sitting here listening on the headphones, like, "Oh God, I don't know what to do now." But also, if I would have known now what I knew then, I'd be like, "Bro, take her, please. She is yours. Yeah, take it right now."
I legit like I'm halfway through a and I'm like, this feels like Leslie Nielsen. Do I have a microphone? I'm like, shit. Fuck. I'm so glad I don't have a prostate problem.
I'm just glad it was a number one.
Legit, I'm like, how long has this show been going on? Don't they have batteries that run out? Jesus
I was
Christ.
constantly trying to figure out how to mute it, and I couldn't figure it out.
No such luck. No such luck.
No. And when he says he figured out how to mute it, he looked at it, saw it was recording, and looked at us and said, "Guys, it's recording."
Too late. Too late. It's
So,
too late.
yeah.
Nothing we can do about it. So I was hoping you'd have me back on the show sometime, but
No, we
so
are.
much for that.
As long as you don't, my rule is as long as you don't go number twosies with your microphone, it's okay.
Right.
So
'Cause
you're
that's
still
the
good.
line. That's the line that
That's
you
the
draw.
line.
That's the
So-
line. Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh God. You've never gone to a good Southern Church of Christ or Southern Baptist church until the preacher has left his mic on while he's gone to the bathroom. And God, it's the funniest thing that's ever happened in your life.
Oh, my
And everybody's just sitting there going, "Oh, bless his heart. No, Lord Jesus, help him." So, oh God.
In 30 years in a Black Baptist church,
You've never
in 30 years in a Black Baptist church, never once has that happened.
Never has that happened.
I've not seen it at the church I grew up in.
Thing, man.
What?
I don't know.
And one night on this Southern, on the True Southern TV, they're fucking taking a lake. All this is
Question,
Leslie
do they have
Nielsen.
microphones?
Yeah.
Do what?
Wait, at church?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They had a wireless mic on. So they would leave their mic on and go to
I've been
bed.
to churches where there was no microphone.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I've been to
at
a few
that
of those.
time, I'll admit, he didn't have a wireless microphone.
Yeah,
It
well.
wasn't until I was like in my 20s plus, as that church started to grow into a mini mega.
How
church.
many people went to that church? Like as a kid?
As a kid,
Yeah.
it was roundabouts 250, but by the
That's
time I
not
graduated,
church.
Right. By the time I graduated, so that chapel could hold 500.
Okay.
It was full and overflowing.
Oh wow.
And then they ended up having to build. Well, they built a new cathedral that could
Right.
hold.
Oh,
I want to say 1,500, but
Golly.
it's way more than that. It's actually way more.
No, so I grew up in a church that had 100 people, and you know it was the typical Southern church. If you've never been to a typical Southern church, especially in the Baptist Church of Christ, United Methodist, what happens is after the preacher gets done giving his sermon, he then goes out and he stands at the front door and waits to shake everyone's hand as they walk out. Right?
No, you got to do the call of praise.
Well, you got to do the altar call, but it ends with them going to the front door and they shake everyone's hand on the way out, and you're supposed to come by and say, "Hey, great job today, preacher," or whatever. But what would happen every time is our preacher would have to piss, so he'd do altar call, then he'd run to the bathroom real quick, and then he would come back to the door. Well, half the time he forgot to turn his mic off. So in this little church of 80, 90 people, we get to hear the pastor pissing about every 3 weeks. It was
that's
really
awesome.
a neat experience for us. It really helped us grow closer to Christ.
I'm sure it was.
It was a very spiritual moment. Yes, sir.
Question.
Answer.
Why do you piss on the floor?
Why did you piss on my floor?
Well,
It had it
well,
coming.
I stand back.
It had it
Kind
coming.
of, there's water on the floor.
What are you talking about?
No, I cleaned it up.
We're just saying that.
He
it's
cleaned
not
it up.
water,
You're
it's
good.
pee.
That's fine.
Okay, look.
So, are
yes.
you ready for this shit?
Oh God, here
So
we go.
yesterday, range day. So
How about to
I
say
know-
you can come back, Matt?
We're supposed to be talking about SHOT Show, right?
Right.
So I'm bringing a couple buddies with me. One guy's a complete training junkie.
Right.
Like he loves taking classes and all sorts of stuff. And so at one point I was like, "Hey man, I think that's Tim Kennedy."
Oh God.
And he's like, "Holy shit, I gotta get my picture with Tim Kennedy." And the other guys are shooting. I'm like, "Hey man,
Tim Kennedy. Right.
Tim Kennedy
10 Kennedy
is over there."
Way cooler.
Yes.
And Tim Kennedy, as just as I'm like, "Hey man, that's Tim Kennedy," he walks into a fucking urinal. Right? He walks into the fucking porta pot. Walks into a porta pot.
Just goes into piss, or
Just
he
goes
falls
into-
into it. Okay.
Just goes in.
Clarification has to happen.
He goes into the portisan. He comes walking out. My buddy's there, and he's like, "Oh my God!" And Tim Kennedy's like, "Oh my God, this is the greatest moment ever. You get to shake my hand," and I just had my hand in my dick.
Wow.
Or sorry, my dick in my hand. I'll have another Jack on the Rocks. I just had my hand on my dick, and so of course I tell my buddy, I'm like, "Dude, this is your Tim Kennedy dick hand."
Did he say, "I'm never washing this hand ever"?
He insinuated
Your
that.
production crew's had enough of this shit. I think they're leaving.
They're fucking out. This is what I love.
Guns.com.
We-
Look, y'all, hang on. Y'all probably need to go to the guns.com part. Y'all should. I don't
We
want to put
should.
you on the spot.
But
I don't
this
know
is
that
the-
you should. Let's back up. I think you should.
Are you going to Guns.com?
We got passes, and that's a fun part.
My buddies are supposed to.
This is
All right.
a fun one to be at, but there's no harm done because I know you also have other heads you need to shake.
You have an extra pass?
I can't
There's other hands.
extra pass.
Do you have an extra pass?
I have a laptop that could give you a pass.
There you go.
I feel like we should all go. We should
Here's what
all
you
get
need to do.
drunk and go to guns.com party together and just keep. We'll just not stop.
Too
We'll
late.
take that iPad with us. We'll take your crew with us.
Yes.
We'll take this
I
on the
like to
road.
say-
This will be
Oh.
riding with Charlie in the Uber.
So
This is riding with Charlie to Guns.com.
in the
with,
words
with
of
our,
old
with our
nigger bastard.
great black
Nigger
friends.
All right.
It's a direct quote.
It is a direct quote.
It's a direct quote. It
fine.
should be fun.
Curtis doesn't believe it. It's fine. Yeah, whatever.
Curtis doesn't believe it.
All right, you know what? For the sake of everyone here and all the viewers, all 6 of them, I feel
All
like
6.
I'm going to wrap this up because there's some appearances. Y'all people know y'all. People don't know me. I'm gonna go right there and go to bed. It's so good.
So
That's the great
jealous.
thing about being me. Yeah. So y'all need to go be people that are admired and people love you and shit.
Right.
Drunk Charlie. Yeah, I was really talking to you. I didn't even know he was listening. So
I can't hear a thing.
he's not. Yeah, he is.
Drunk Charlie. That's what they're calling you.
Down,
I love that new podcast.
I
Drunk
love
Charlie.
it. Drunk Charlie. It's a
Drunk
podcast I will watch
Driving
every
with
week.
Drunk Charlie? That's
And
money. That's gold.
Curtis. All right, listen, we're gonna wrap this up. Okay, guys, thank you. Real life. I mean, I know we've joked a lot. We've had a lot of fun tonight. Thank y'all for being here. This has been a lot of fun. And
This is what happens when Amy Lucas says, "Hey, come to this party. We're gonna have you on the show at 5 o'clock."
Right.
I'm like,
I'll be there at 6.
Right.
I'll be there at 6. And this is 2.5 hours later.
yeah, no, that's it. Well, and this, this has been a trial for us this year because, when we're in this industry, we're always trying new things. We're trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. And the one thing that I love podcasts, I love when we get together and we have these really serious conversations about the industry. Those have to happen. But also people never, I feel like, and this was my big thing with this show, is like people never get to just see us sitting back and having a little bit of fun and getting to see who the real we are, right? And who we are every single day. And so that's been fun. I love having Michael and Curtis here with me. Of course, Whit's here with me. Usually Jamie and Amy are here with me. They left. I like your production crew.
I love
they
that-
seem like good dudes.
I love
they
that
have
we
a s-
chased Jamie and Amy away.
completely gone.
Right.
Ja-
Amy's like, oh my God, I do this. No, Jamie's, she's like, I do this great show with this guy Lucas every day.
Yeah.
5 o'clock, we have a couple of drinks, and I'm like, oh, that sounds awesome. She's
Yeah.
like, you should come by. She's not here.
Right.
She hasn't been here for
She
two
is
and a half-
gone, yeah.
She hasn't been here for 3.5 fucking hours.
I'm gonna try Charlie Drop. I'm asleep back.
But this is the best. This is as good as it gets. I mean, it's long days for us at SHOT Show, so getting to come and decompress for a little bit and actually just get to talk and be us, it's awesome. And y'all get to come and drink alcohol and eat chocolates. So chocolate balls, Curtis.
Are they salted?
And ladies and gentlemen, that's where we end the show. That's how it's so small. That's how you know. So we've had enough here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to the show. The one of you that's still here, we appreciate you so much, guys. In all honesty, all joking aside, thank y'all for coming. I mean, this has been cool. Please, if we can ever do anything again, let's do it. Let's have some fun. But I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your week here at SHOT Show. And y'all have fun at guns.com tonight. Hey, Charlie, get it together. Just hit his hand.
Hey, you're going too, motherfucker.
Oh, apparently I'm going too. Yeah. I've only got to do a presentation in the morning at 9 o'clock. As long as I can make it back for that, it's fine. Yeah. All right. We're done. Guys, make sure. Okay, real quick, before we go, we've got, tell them your channels and tell them how they can find them.
So if you check out Writing Shotgun with Charlie, you can find me on YouTube. You can find me on podcast form. You can find me at Writing Shotgun, WRITING.com.
Fucker bought that domain.
Jesus, that sounds the wrong one. Writing Shotgun with Charlie at Arm Lifestyle Magazine. You can find me at news2a.com as well. You can find me on Amazon. Not Amazon. What's the one I go?
OnlyFans?
Amoland.
You can also find it on
If you want to get pictures of my face.
any single clan
Jesus
channel.
Christ. Amoland News 2A, Writing Arm Lifestyle Magazine. Right.
They just kicked him off.
That's Writing Shotgun with Charlie. That's what you gotta check out.
Okay, you're up.
Oh, sorry.
For the one of my viewers, tell them where to find your shit at.
MeetThePressers.com. That links to my training company, PublicSafetyEducation.com, and Meet the Pressers on all the social media. I already have one. Charlie.
Yeah, so you can go to
Jesus.
Yeah.
You also make amazing honey.
What's that?
Your honey is amazing.
Oh, honey. Yeah. So I got MalloryMarket.com's our honey and bees. Yes, MalloryUnlimited.com links to everything. So if you wanted to do that, yeah.
I love that. So make sure you give them some follows. Keep up with them, what they're going on. True Southern TV, make sure you follow us on all the socials. We've got continuing SHOT Show coverage all week long as we're here. I don't know how long Charlie's going to make it. God bless. I don't know what your interviews are tomorrow, but I'm there for all of them because I feel like they are just going to be a shit show. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Those of you that have endured through this shit for the past 3 hours, we love you. We appreciate you. We're done. That's it. We're going to go to guns.com.
Don't drink and drive, get an Uber.
That's right. Get an Uber. Don't drive drunk. We love y'all. Good night. We'll see y'all next time live here from SHOT Show 2024 tomorrow night at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Good night. Say bye, everybody.
Stay safe. Bye, everybody.
Yeah.